Let's do it. Wave that light, and we are rocking and rolling. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live for Sunday footy action to end off round number 2, where we've seen some big time results that are starting to shape the competition. Obviously, it's still only round 2, and the competition is still just beginning to take shape. Don't please cry too much if your team is struggling right now, because we have seen a lot of the time teams will struggle at the beginning and come home like a train. One of the 2 teams here today, the Newcastle Knights, have been well known for doing that. And there is a long way to go in this year. It is only round 2 of a 27-round season, man. So just stay patient. You know, if you do go 0-3, then you're going to start to definitely get concerned. That's obviously next week. You're going to start considering and thinking about that. But at the end of the day, if you've won 2-0, you haven't won the comp yet. If you're 0-2, you haven't lost a comp yet. There is still a lot of footy to be played. Now, the results that we've seen so far this weekend, the Eels won 40-32 over the Broncos. The Warriors beat the Raiders 40-6. Then we got the Roosters beating the Rabbitohs 26-18. Tigers 44-16 over the Cowboys. The Storm 46-20 of the Dragons. But that game was a lot closer than the scoreline actually represents. And then last night we saw a really convincing Panthers win of 26-6 over the Sharkies. Before today, obviously this game here is between the Manly Seagulls and the Newcastle Knights, followed by the final game of the round being the Gold Coast Titans travelling up to Suncorp Stadium to take on the Redcliffe Dolphins, which, look, I've got to hope my boys can get the job done, especially with the bullshit news we've heard in the media today. I really hope that they go out and get the job done and fire up your Cats. Just go up there to Suncorp and get a win against a vulnerable team. You know, the Dolphins defensively aren't that great, neither of the Titans, but hopefully we can show a little bit of a better defensive point and a bit of a better attacking point than we did last week against the Sharkies. But that game we'll talk about after this one. For the time being, we've got a belter here between Manly versus Newcastle. A bit of a rivalry game that goes back many years, obviously all the way back to before 1997, but 97 was when it really kick-started with that Darren Albert try in the last few seconds to win the grand final over the Seagulls. Guys, obviously hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here. Let's get into these 2 team lineups for today. So Manly, they come into this game from 12th position. The Knights come in from 6th position. This is at 4 Pines Park in Sydney. That is Brookvale Oval. The ins here for Manly, Brandon Wakeham, Josh Folletti and Paul Bryan, with the outs being Clayton Faulalo, Joey Walsh and Sisiwa Takiaho. Why is Joey Walsh out? Is Joey Walsh injured? I'm going to flip out. Joey Walsh, Manly. Why is he not playing today? Manly tweet bench a blockbuster clash with reshuffled Knights. Damn, so he's been dropped, has he? Has he actually been dropped, Joey Walsh? That's wild to mine. That is absolutely wild. Walsh is... Okay, here we go. Kobe Hetherington has been named at prop. Knights recruit Paul Bryan is all set to make his NRL debut, blah, blah, blah. While rising star Joey Walsh has been named in the number 14 jersey. Well, no, he hasn't been. He's not. He's out of this game. So I would hope. I don't want to hope, but at the end of the day, I don't want him to be dropped. There has to be a reason for this. Let us know in the chat if you know why Joe Walsh is not playing here for Manly. Now, the fullback is Tom Trbojevic, who is the captain. The wingers being Jason Saab and Leha Hapawade. The centres are Total Kola and Ruben Garrett. Kola loves a good try here at Brookvale. I think he scored in his last 10 games here at least 1 try, which is just crazy. The 5'8" is Luke Brooks. The halfback is Jamal Fogarty, with the front row forwards being Taniela Paseka and Kobe Hetherington. Number 9 is Jake Simpkin. Go to the back row of Hamoli Olakawatu and Ben Trbojevic, with the 13th being Jake Trbojevic. Then the interchange is Nathan Brown, Ethan Bullimore, Paul Bryan, Brandon Wakeham, Josh Folletti, and Corey Waddell, with the coach being Anthony Seibold. Obviously, I question why Joey Walsh is not a part of this team, unless it is an injury that I just haven't heard about, and it doesn't say anything about this on that article that I just read just now. And I can't see. Oh, okay, Manly have dropped they've dropped something here. Where is it? Okay, so they've shown the team list. Are they going to mention anything about the team list? No, they're just talking about Paul Bryan on debut. So yeah, sure. I'm not too sure overall. But look, this Manly team last week against the Canberra Raiders, you know, they put in a good effort. You know, they were up 14-0 at one stage before giving up 28 unanswered points to the Raiders, and it being 28-14 before the last 7 minutes of the game. Manly just decided to turn it on, scored 2 quick tries, 14 unanswered points, and sent it to extra time at 28-28 before the rookie, Ethan Sanders, for the Canberra Raiders, got the field goal to win them their game 29-28. I was actually more impressed by Manly than I was thinking I would be. Like, I still do believe Manly are going to struggle this year. I do still have them for quite a low ranking overall. But with that being said, they did compete pretty heavily. However, the Raiders have now gone to New Zealand and got absolutely punched in the mouth over there. So how is that result now looking for Manly, considering the two opposite play styles there from Canberra, especially with both being in the wet? They're both similar tracks. It's just that obviously that was in Auckland and that first game was in Manly. But, you know, I do think that the Raiders are a better team than what we saw from them on Friday night against New Zealand. However, yeah, look, Manly were just very hot and cold. They dominated the first 11 minutes of the game. They had the ball 100% for the first 11 minutes. And then, you know, the Raiders just ate their way back into the game and they faded like they usually do. But luckily, they were able to get the win in extra time. So, look, for mine, that Manly first game was a good sign for them. Now, let's see if they can do the Knights here. And if they can win against the Knights, I think that is a really positive sign for them. Not because the Knights, but just because they need to show us they can win right now with this team. It's not a star-studded team overall. Like Tolta Kuala, he's great. Tom Trbojevic, he's great. Saab, question marks on him. Ruben Garrick may not even be here past this year, but has been good, but question marks on him. Hopewade, question marks. Luke Brooks and Jamal Fogarty in the halves, massive question mark, halves pairing. And the forwards are just, you know, like, okay, you know, Olakawatu is unbelievable, but outside of that, you're just not really getting too excited here about this Manly team overall. So we need to see them go and prove it here today. They've obviously got 5 to 7 rounds to really prove themselves as a team. I don't think last week was horrific, so hopefully we can see them turn up here today and give it a right old crack. Now, for Newcastle, their ins and outs is Harrison Graham in. Fletcher Sharp, unfortunately, he is injured. He is out. The fullback is Kalen Ponga, with the wingers being Dominic Young and Greg Martiu. Centres of Dane Gagai and Bradman Best. Then you go to the 5'8", which is Sandon Smith, and the halfback is Dylan Brown. Front row forwards of Jacob Saifidi and Trey Mooney, with the number 9 being Phoenix Crossland. The back row is Dylan Lucas and Jermaine McEwen, with the 13 being Matt Croker, who was originally meant to be on the bench, but Tyson Frizzell has dropped off to the bench. Croker starts, and Tyson Frizzell on the bench now. Thomas Kant, Pasami Saulo, Francis Malalua, Fletcher Hunt, and Harrison Graham, with the coach being Justin Holbrook on his second game in charge. The Knights had a good win. They had a really good win over there in Vegas against the North Queensland Cowboys, 28-18. However, we've also seen how the Cowboys are as a team. We have. Yesterday, we got to see a brilliant game against the West Tigers where they lost 44-16 and just didn't have anything about them. So that game against the Cowboys for the Knights, I did say all week long, well, that doesn't prove really anything to me just yet. That doesn't prove anything because, okay, sure, it means that you beat the Cowboys, and I did tip the Knights to beat the Cowboys. But it doesn't show that they're like here and ready to stay. And I don't even necessarily think that Manly are going to be a great point here. Well, you know what? I will say, actually, if the Knights win this game against Manly, it does say that they're probably going to be a team that are going to be avoiding the spoon this year. It doesn't mean anything because it is only 2 rounds in, but it would be giving me a good inkling that the Knights probably don't get the spoon if they can go and win this game for mine, even though it is Manly are a bit of a how you go and team themselves, but it would be at Brookie, and I just think it would be a decent enough win there for the Knights in comparison to what it would necessarily tell you about Manly. But look, this Newcastle team, Bradman Best and Dane Gagai, strong centres. Dom Young, Greg Martiu, great attacking wingers, not great defensive wingers. Kalen Pong obviously playing to be that New Zealand fullback right now over Keanu Kenny. He needs to have an absolutely massive year. I wonder if he's going to, put himself back in that Origin frame. I'm not too sure. Obviously, I think Reece Walsh will get that fullback spot, but Kalen Pong will want to put himself back into that representative arena. And then, you go to the 5'8" and halfback. Obviously, you definitely do wish. Give me 1 second here. You definitely do wish that Fletcher Sharp was still here because he was clearly their best player in that first 20 or so minutes of that Knights versus Cowboys game over there in Las Vegas. And then unfortunately got injured. So Sando comes in. Look, I think he's going to still do a job. And Dylan Brown, we just need to see him be convincing as a halfback, even though I don't believe he's a halfback. I do still believe he is a 5'8" and one of the best 5'8s in the game at that. They just don't have a situation where they can put him into the 5'8 currently. So it's an interesting wait and see there on Sandon Smith and Dylan Brown. And then their forwards, look, I'd actually probably back the forwards of the Knights over this Manly side. Jacob Saifidi and Trey Mooney. Trey Mooney's young, coming up. It looks the goods. Jacob Saifidi, his experience, he's not the most unbelievable front row forward, but him and Daniel Paseka kind of even each other out. Kobe Hetherington and Trey Mooney. I do like the up and coming status of Trey Mooney there over Hetherington. Then the 9, Crossland and Simkin. Look, I'm going to go Crossland because he's a New Zealand hooker, even though I do think that he's not that fantastic overall on a consistent level, but he is still the New Zealand hooker. And then the back row of Dylan Lucas and Jermaine McEwen up against Olakau'atu and Ben Trbojevic. I do have Olakau'atu as the clear best back row there of the two, but the comparison of Dylan Lucas and McEwen together going up against with Ben Trbojevic as the second man there for Manly, I do think that's quite even because those two Knights players collectively, for mine, do trump the two Manly players. Again, I've got Olakau'atu above, and then Trbojevic versus Croker, I probably do have Jake Trbojevic there. Even though he's not the same player he once was, he's a very defensive-minded player, just makes tackles galore, and unreal to watch him just put that defensive effort in. So this is actually quite an even game. Like, if you look across it, this is quite an even game here that could go down to the wire. I could also see a Manly 13-pluser here. I could. But I hope that this is going to go down to the wire because this round so far, we have seen quite a few blowouts, unfortunately. The Tigers-Cowboys was a blowout. The Storm-Dragons ended up being a blowout. Panthers-Sharks was an absolute blowout. Warriors blew out the Raiders, and the Eels and Broncos blew out our minds, seeing 72 points scored in that game. So I just really want a really close game. That's what I need. And then the Titans-Dolphins after this, hopefully that's a close one, where we know there's going to be a bucket load of points, but yeah, just give us a bit of a close one, please. But in my tip today, between Manly and the Knights, I am going to take Manly on the basis that I think they showed enough against the Raiders where they should be good to go here at Manly. I don't think they're going to lose 2 games in a row here at Brook, even though I don't expect the Manly Sea Eagles to be too good long-term this season. I do think it's going to be a pretty rough year in the Northern Beaches, for sure. But I think they'll get a win here, and it'll put them in good stead going into the bye, because they've got a bye next week. So Manly's first 5 to 7 rounds that you've got to keep an eye on. Obviously, they lost to the Raiders in the first round by 1 point in extra time. Then they play the Knights here today, and Manly. Then they've got to bye the Roosters at home, the Dolphins away, the Dragons away, and the Cowboys away. And before round 8, they play the Eels at home. That's a pretty good, strong stretch there after that Roosters game. But these first 2 games, the first one you didn't expect was winnable. They nearly won it, but they didn't win it. This game, very winnable. That bye. Then the Roosters game, I just don't see them winning that against the Chooks. But that's going to be a good, a little bit of a rivalry matchup there with Sherry Evans going up against his old club. And then you've got the Dolphins, very winnable. Dragons, very winnable. And the Cowboys, absolutely winnable right now. So I feel like if you're Manly and thinking about a top 8 position this year, and you're thinking that you're going to be in that hunt, you have to definitely beat the Cowboys. You have to beat the Dragons. You have to beat the Dolphins. And you have to beat the Knights. You know, you should be at minimum 4-2, I would say, after 6 rounds. And then it's the bye. If you think that you are a top 8 team this year, you should be 4-2 after the 7 rounds are up with that bye, is what I would say. If you disagree, let me know. But I think that you must beat teams like the Knights, Dolphins, Dragons, and Cowboys if you are a top 8 team this year. That doesn't mean I think that they're going to do that. I'm just saying that's what I would set as a marker for them being a top 8 team. Now, the Knights, on the other hand, their first 7 rounds, now they beat the Cowboys, obviously, in Las Vegas. Now they travel to Manly before they play host to the New Zealand Warriors next week. The Bulldogs away the week after. The Raiders at home the week after. Then they travel to Campbelltown to take on the Tigers. And then the Roosters at Allianz Stadium. Even in round 8, they still play the Panthers. And then round 9, the Rabbitohs, before they get a bit of an easier stretch against the Dragons and the Titans, the Bye and the Eels. Wow, that first 7-8 rounds is just quite brutal. You know, this first 2 games is the very winnable ones of the Cowboys and the Manly game. But then after that, Warriors, Bulldogs, Raiders, Tigers looked at goods. But then again, that was only against the Cowboys. So whatever, we'll see how they play out. The Roosters, and I'll add in the Panthers here for good measure. How do you get off to a good start with that draw? How do you get off to a good start with that draw? That is absolutely tough. Like, yeah, you can get off to a 2-0 start. I feel like you must win this game today. I think this is a must-win for you. You need to go 2-0 because you could very likely lose that game with the Warriors, the Bulldogs, the Raiders, Tigers, Roosters, and the Panthers. And you could even say the Rabbitohs. So that's 7 teams. Like, that is really difficult schedule, really difficult run. If you win this game, you'll give me a lot more confidence going into that stretch. But right now, if you don't win this against Manly, I just don't know where you pick up the 2 points there, unless the Warriors are just inconsistent like we have seen from them, and next week they do falter and fall apart there at McDonald's Jones Stadium. We all know how that happened last year with Leka Halasima getting that last second try after the Tanner Boyd field goal charged down, and then he ran 40 metres to score and win the game. That actually is what what put the Newcastle Knights as the wooden spooners at the end of the day, because it was just that one win, and if they had got that, they would have avoided the spoon, but obviously wasn't to be. So for mine, I think if you want to consider yourself a top 8 team, then you definitely need to be beating the Tigers. You obviously have to win against Manly today. And I think, realistically, the other team that you'd be looking to beat would be Raiders. You could make the argument for the Wars, but the Wars look really good right now in those first 2 games. I'll say the Raiders based off what we saw against the Wars, to be fair. So if you want to be a top 8 team, you'd have to be 2... I think you just actually need 3 wins out of that first 7 for mine. I think you only need to be 3 and 4 out of that first 7 to be in with a sniff, because it does show that means you pick up 1 result there against someone who's not the Manly or the Cowboys, because obviously you're assuming the Manly and the Cowboys games are both wins then. So then you would be picking up 1 result out of the rest of them. If you want to say 4 and 3, then that'd be a really good start, because then that means you get the Tigers win, and then you pick up a scalp out of Warriors, Bulldogs, Raiders, Roosters, so it's a tough schedule here for the Knights early doors. It is. It's a really tough schedule, but let's see if they can get it all working together. How long is Fletcher Sharp out for? Let us know in the comment section how long he is gone for. Let's quickly go into the table. Not that it really matters, and we should care about it, because it is only round 2. But the Manly Seagulls, they obviously did not get a win. So they're in 12th position right now with a -1 points differential. They would just need to win by 1 point if they to go above the Eels, the Raiders, and the Roosters into 9th position. If they win by 3 points or more, they would go above the Rabbitohs into 8th position. If they won by 6 points or more, they would go above the Knights into 7th position. They would have to win by 22 points to go above the Sharks into 6th position, and that is the highest that Manly could finish after this round. But that is entirely possible. It's entirely possible. If they lose this game, however, if they lose by 9 points or more, they right now would go below the Dolphins, but the Dolphins still play the Titans later on. They would have to lose by 40 points and more to go below the Titans, but again, the Titans get to play later on. All those Queensland teams are in that bottom 4 right now, except for the Dragons. Dragons are in 4th last. Dolphins are actually in 5th last after that loss to the Dragons yesterday on their points differential. That is brutal. But look, Manly, the lowest they can go is obviously technically into 17th position, but that would need an absolutely gigantic of a loss there. Well, actually, yeah, it would, because the Cowboys are on -38 themselves in 16th, and Broncos are -34, so they'd have to have a gigantic loss here. Now, the Knights, on the other hand, if they were to lose, obviously, if they lose by 12 points or more, they go below Manly down to 8th. If they lost by 8, then that would also put them below the South Sydney Rabbitohs, so they'd go into 9th. They would have to lose by a pretty significant margin of 26 or more to go below the Roosters, and if they lose by about 34 or more, they would go below the Canberra Raiders there on that -33. And then if you're talking 40-50, then if you're talking 50 plus, then you would be going below the Parramatta Eels there into 11th. But if you do win this game, now this is the interesting one, you would immediately go above the Sharks into 6th position. Nobody could jump you for the rest of the weekend. So you'd go into 6th. Now the Bulldogs are +1, so all you have to do is win by 1, you go above the Dogs. The Tigers, with their +28, you would have to win by 18 points or more to go above the Tigers. Panthers are +46, you would have to win by 36 points or more to go above the Panthers. You'd have to win by 48 points or more to go above the Warriors, and don't even talk to me about the Storm with their +74 already. That just is what the Melbourne Storm do, isn't it? That is just what they do. They just absolutely piece you apart, and they've already done that so far this season. But all right, let's get to the chat. 10 minutes to go until the game starts here, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget, Dolphins versus the Titans right after this one. Hopefully that is a good game that doesn't make me cry on stream. Come on, please. Please, please, no crying on stream. Please, no, please. Cosmic says, who's your top 8 prediction? I have a video of my 1 through 17. I refuse to change my predictions of my 1 through 17 until 5 to 7 rounds in, and then we'll do an updated ladder prediction based off of what we've seen. But if you want to go and have a look at my full 1 to 17, then yeah, you can go and check that out and see who I've put where I've put it. Even though I have my doubts and concerns already in regards to certain positions that I've put teams in, I'll always wait 5 to 7 rounds. Daniel says, have I missed the try scoring tips? Okay, no, try scoring tips for today. Okay, so 1 try scorer, I usually go backline for both teams and forward power for both teams. So the backline player for Manly, I'm going to go Tolutau Kuola. He has scored a try in his last 10 games here at Brookvale. And then for Manly, in their forward pack, I will. Did Hamolda get a try? I don't want to go so obvious though, but there's a reason he is obvious, Olakalatu. There is. You know what? I'm going to go super obvious here with Manly because outside of that, it doesn't give me a great deal of excitement. I'm going to go Hamoli Olakalatu in the back row, and I am going to go Tolatakwala there in the centres. So two pretty obvious picks overall for the Knights. In regards to the back line, I'm going to mix it up here, and I'm going to say Sandon Smith actually gets a try from the 5'8". I just feel like he's going to be nifty today and might be able to sneak one. So I'll go with an outsider there of the 5'8" for the Knights being Sandon Smith. And then we go to the forwards, and who do I go here? Like the obvious one is going to be like a Dylan Lucas. I'm going to go Trey Mooney. I'm going to go Mooney as a big bopper, just gets over the line. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go a bit of a Trey Mooney. I'm going to go with Sando Smith as a bit of a roughie, and then Tolotau Kuala and Olakawatu as two pretty favourite options there in their respective positions. That's what I'll do for my try scorers today. Brenton says, come on, Neil, we can only watch half of this game before work. Damn. Wow, gee whiz, look at the state of him. Can't even watch his damn well team play. Brenton, you are a fake Knights, man. You are a bandwagoner. You bandwagon them when they beat the Cowboys. Look at you bandwagoner, you. Sean says, good morning, mate. Can't believe I have the house to myself. Sensational. How good's that? How good is that? Rebirth Rizzler says, Titans and Knights, my tips to win. Good on you, Rebirth. Fire up the Titans. Fire up. Brenton says, hopefully we get Fletcher back for that stretch of away games. Well, it's a really tough run after this game finishes up. But when is Fletcher shut back? How long is he meant to be out for? Up the bunny says, Seagulls and Dolphins to win. Well, you can shush. Scott James says, I have a genuine question. What's Cameron Smith's role at the Broncos? As a Titans fan, wouldn't he be better off at a better club? What? Well, why? Like, wouldn't he be better off at a better club? That's not really a genuine question, though. It's not a genuine question, because if it was a genuine question, you wouldn't be saying, wouldn't he be better off at a better club? Because the Broncos, take away my banter and internal bias as a Titans fan. The Broncos are a very successful club, and they won a grand final last year, and just because they lose their first two games, then they're not a good club. For Cameron Smith, like, he's from Brisbane. Isn't he from Brisbane? I swear he was born there. I know he used to play for... Did he used to play at North? Cameron Smith, NRL. I swear he used to play at North as a young lad. The North Devils, if I'm not mistaken. He was, because I was watching him alongside buddy Greg Inglis and whatnot back in the day, because my dad lived at Doomben, which is literally like 5-10 minutes away from the North Devils home club. He's from Logan. Smith played at hooker 5'8" for the Logan Brothers in Logan City. After scoring 180 points for the North Devils in the Queensland Cup, he moved up to the NRL with the Melbourne Storm Club. Yeah, I knew it was. So why is he not good for the Broncos? Like, where is your genuine question there? Tyler Bryce says, I'm a Manly fan. I don't think we can make the top 8 this year. Not a fan of Seabold. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of Seabold at all. And I don't think that Manly make the top 8 this year. But let's just see how the first few rounds play out. You got to buy next week. If you can win this, you get 4 points. You get 4 points. You get the 2 free next week. And whilst everyone gets their buys, it's a good steadier. Especially after these first 2 rounds, you've had that rough loss to the Raiders, but then you go and get a win against the Knights. It's 1-1. You can kind of go back and rethink it and figure out what you did well in that Raiders game and what you did wrong and what you did right in the Knights game, what you did wrong. It just gives you that real good fresh point, like the start of the season, like it starts all over again kind of deal, is what I would say. So I think Manly's bye will come at a pretty good time for them, even though it's still super early. Scott's Titans win today, not even a discussion. Exactly right. Brenton says, I think he'll be back next week. There was talks he could have been all right today. Oh, well, that will be good. That will be good. Who'd they play next? Oh, that's right, Warriors. Yeah, well, you're going to need him. With the way they're playing, you are going to need a guy like Fletcher Sharp in that game. Scott says, got to watch the predictions video. Exactly right, Scott. Exactly right. Peter says, I've heard KP is playing a hybrid role. On attack, he's playing more like a halfback. If this is the plan, I think Newcastle's game plan will hinder KP playing Origin. Why? Why would it hinder KP playing Origin? If he's playing really, really good football, if he's playing great footy, then I think Billy Slater would pick him. But with that being said, Queensland love to pick and stick, and for the most part, they always do. New South Wales fans will pipe back and say, what happened to Cherry Evans? He was your captain and was successful, but you got rid of him. Well, obviously, you've seen that was the right decision, because when Cherry Evans was the captain and played in the game, people were criticising him in the year before, and then also in game 1 of last year, and then he obviously got dropped, and then they went on to win both their next 2 games and looked fantastic doing so. So it was definitely the correct decision there from Billy. But, there are going to be outliers. They're going to be moments like that where, of course, you have to move on from certain players. But for the most part, Queensland love to pick and stick, and I would assume that Reece Walsh, provided he's not injured, or I do love that a lot of people are starting to say Tanner Boyd for halfback of Queensland, mind you. I love it. I love it. I never would have expected that from non-Titans fans 5 years ago. Wowee. Just ridiculous. X-Factor says we've got a Sunday special if it comes good, $100 donation. Knights to win, best Brown and Cobbett to score as a 2-game multi if it comes good, $100 donation. Well, I hope so, X-Factor. I've tipped Manly here, though. I do think the old Manly get up, and I've had a rough week on the tips this week, man. Wowee. I tipped the Broncos against the Eels. I tipped the Raiders against the Warriors. I did tip the Roosters versus the Rabbitohs at the very least, and then I did tip the Tigers against the Cowboys. I did tip the Storm against the Dragons, but then I did tip the Sharkies to have a bit of a boil over there and finally prove to us that they're a good team, but obviously not to be. So against the Panthers, and then today I've got Manly, and then I'm tipping my team. I'm going the upset in the Titans-Dolphins game, so I could have an absolutely awful week. After having a really good week last week, where I only got one game wrong, and that was the Warriors game, I've had a bit of a mare this week, unfortunately. Friends, I'll try watch it at work. Serpent says that Manly Roosters game round 4. Brooke, you're going to be spicy. Yeah, still plenty of time before that happens. There's still a lot to go before that, but I guess that is Manly's next game because they've got a bye next week. Maui says, hi, it's Leviticus. Who you got? I'm taking a Manly here today. I just feel like it's a beautiful day, dry track. Manly, they do still have some speedsters. Jason Saab, Tolatakuola, Tommy T still gets a bit of motor on him. Ruben Garrick's got some speed. Leo Hobwatta's got some speed. Their backline's very, very fast. This Knights team is also decent enough in that capacity in that 1 through 5, but overall, I do think the dry track might be able to suit this Manly team today. But what do I know? The Knights could turn up just like they did in Vegas, where they looked pretty good. Like, they still made a lot of errors, and they still played a Cowboys team that they allowed in that game. It was only like a 4 to 6 point game for, the most part of that game. But the Knights did win that one, so I still have significant doubts, especially considering we watched the Cowboys play yesterday against the Tigers, and it looked awful. Big scoring game, Jess says. Could be, yeah, it could be. It could easily be a low-scoring grind, but I would say it's probably going to be a high scorer. That is how it normally kind of goes in today's rugby league, regardless of team. The game is so fast. There are so many 6-agains. It is just very, very flowing and bang, 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 bang. And that's why you see teams get exhausted. That's why you see teams put on heaps of points. And I'll go and say I expect that today. I don't think the Knights' defense is great. I don't think Manly's defense is great. So, yeah, we'll go probably high scorer. I have 3 from 6. See what happens today. I think a lot of people are 3 and 6, Sean. I think a lot of people. It's been a interesting round. I think most people would have gone the Panthers. I did go the upset. I did try to sneak an upset here and there. Didn't get that one. I think most people would have taken the Storm. So most people would be 2-2 there. Tigers, Cowboys, more people than not probably would have tipped the Tigers, but not everybody. And then on Friday, it would have been a split. I think more people would have tipped the Rabbitohs over the Roosters, to be honest with you, based off of that Dolphins game. I think that the Roosters were obviously favourites and should have been favourites, and that's why I tipped them. But I think a lot of people would have been suckered in by that Dolphins game thinking the Rabbitohs look amazing. And it's like, well, not just quite yet. So I think that would have been one where people would have pulled back a little bit. And then the Warriors-Raiders game was a 50-50 split. I think that it's probably dead smack down the middle of 50-50, and then most people would have tipped the Broncos. So overall, I'd say most people are at the very least 3, but 4 is probably where most people sit. It'd be super if you got all tips right so far. Real super. X-Fat says, I read an article about how Panthers are using the 6-again rule to set their defensive line just by holding in the first tackle on kicks and forcing teams to run back behind the ball. Do you think they change 6-again to a penalty if it's first tackle and they're holding them down and play the ball? The good teams always find ways to skirt the rules within the rule book. And the Panthers are good for that. Storm are good for that. That's what these teams do. Roosters have done that over the years. And look at those 3 teams. They're the ones who are the most successful overall. I just want them to make a rule and then to stick by it. At the end of the day, these other teams will click onto it. Stop making new rules that gives encouragement to, teams skirting those rules within the rule book. because if you just keep on changing it, you're just going to keep adjusting the game. And the teams that are trying to catch up never are able to catch up because you've set that foundation as successful teams, and you can adjust very, very quickly compared to the other teams that are trying to build themselves out of their hole. Serpent says, on 5 and 6, he'll sit wrong. I'm surprised, to be honest. I'm surprised, Serpent, because usually your takes are awful. Yeah, I'm surprised that you're 5 from 6, to be fair. But with that being said, most people would have tipped the Broncos. So I don't think really anybody would have been. I don't think anyone really would be 6 from 6. Like, I'm going to go have a look at our tipping comp here. By the way, 5 minutes to go until the game starts, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to go have a look at the ladder on our tipping comp to see if anyone's got everything right. Ibrahim, Bronco. Yeah, see, Bronco's got people. Okay, let's go down here. No, Parachips. Parachips is 5 from 6. He's just got the Rabbitohs one, and Magic Man as well, 5 from 6. Just got that Rabbitohs wrong. That Eels game is what killed everyone. Yeah, the Eels game is what killed everyone. Paraproud, which is Andrew Backhouse, he tipped the Sharkies, but he also he did tip the Eels, but he also took the Rabbits. Yeah, nobody in our tipping comp is 6 from 6. Yeah, 6 people in your comp tip Para right now. They did, but they also didn't tip correctly for the rest of the and tip correctly. So the people who tip Para tip the Rabbitohs, and then Rabbitohs. Adam eats Heinz beans. He took the Eels, he took the Sharkies, and he also took the Raiders. Yeah. And then in Eels, he took the Rabbitohs. Why was it, if you're an Eels tipper this week, everyone's just randomly tipped the Rabbitohs? It's just like you had to tip the Rabbitohs if you tip the Eels this week. But yeah, nobody in our tipping comp is 6 from 6. Because Glenn, he tipped the Eels, but then he went Raiders, Roosters, Cowboys, Dragons, and Sharks. Dragons! Glenn, what are we doing? Dragons! No, they gave it a good shout for at least a good portion of that. But yeah, nobody is 6 from 6. In our tipping comp, specifically. In our tipping comp. Alright, so we're getting ready to run out here. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's get a good game. I'm a Roosters fan. Was never going to tip South. Well, yeah, I wouldn't really expect that. As a content creator, I do try to tip away from my team, which is why I tipped the Sharks last week against the Titans. But I did tip us this week. I'm going to hopefully claw one back because nobody will tip us. Tyler says, shame that Joe Wells has dropped his grab potential. I don't know why he's been dropped. It's ridiculous for mine. I just don't know why he's been dropped. Moe says, what team you got this year to win? Like I said, bro, go and check out the season predictions video that I do every single year. They put that out just before the Vegas games, and on that basis, you will see who I'm predicting to win the competition this year. It's a long season. People go and see team losing in round 1 and thinking that's it. That's the season done and dusted for that team. You're just like, well, no, that's just not the case. But obviously, the Gold Coast Titans will go undefeated from this point onwards. But no, I still stick by my season predictions from the video. X-Factor says a lot of pressure on Dylan Brown. It's won a field with no Sharp there. A very different team when Fletcher Sharp was injured in that game against the Cowboys. Very, very different team, and they just got over the line. The Cowboys obviously gave away a sin bin, and that's when the Knights scored that late try to take the win. I am pretty confident Manly today. I just think that the Knights, it'll take them a little bit to really work into this season, especially with Fletcher Sharp out. I just feel like Manly should get the job done here today. They really should. Everyone says, yeah, I'm 5 for 6 and got Manly, but don't know. Probably hardest to predict. The hardest to predict game for mine was that Raiders-Warriors game, but then obviously the Warriors cleaned them up in the end. Well, no one would have thought Brisbane would win the comp when they were struggling to make the 8 at one point. No one would have thought no one did think, I didn't think the Panthers would make the prelims halfway through last year. I remember, and I put my hand up and say I was wrong. I remember there was a couple of comments from one person specifically who kept saying, like, the Panthers are paying this much to make the 8, this much to win the comp, this much to be, at this point. What are you thinking? And I'm like, well, shit, the Panthers got nothing. They got nothing this year. And then they turned it around and they absolutely had something and were 5 minutes away from making another grand final in a row. So, and I believe the Panthers would have won the grand final if they got into the grand final. I do believe the Panthers would have beaten the Storm and gone 5 consecutive premierships in a row. So if you're a Panthers hater, you should be very grateful for the Brisbane Broncos in that one. But that's exactly what happens. It's only the beginning of the season. We're only 2 rounds in. X-Ray says Dylan Brown really needs a big game if the Knights for a chance. He does, but I don't believe he's a 7. I believe he's a 6. It's just that they can't really fit him into the 6 because they don't really have a 7. If you could ask that question, can you please give us the lotto numbers? The lotto numbers are, how many numbers do I need? 4, 28, 7, 17, 21, 13. Do we need a seventh number? 34. There you go. There's your lotto numbers, mate. It's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. But the game has kicked off, and Newcastle will whack this ball down to the end goal where Luke Brooks... What on earth is Luke Brooks doing? No, Luke Brooks has just let that ball bounce, and it's gone dead, so it's a dropback coming up. What on earth is Luke Brooks doing? That is a horrific way. He's just let that ball bounce and go over the dead ball line. That's... Well, it was not even close to going out in the fall there, Luke Brooks. What are you doing, dude? So Jamal Fogarty to have this dropout, that is just the worst start imaginable for Manly. And they'll go short. Jason Sub coming through, but Brabham Best will get it. And the Knights are on the attack here early, 20 metres out from the line. Just imagine 2 grand final heartbreaks in the last 10 years. They really need that win last year. Yeah. So second tackle now for Newcastle. And Trey Mooney is going to be 17 metres away here from the line. Crossland out to Centre Smith into Dylan Brown. Brown underneath, and good run from Jermaine McEwen, and he'll be 10 metres away from the line. Third tackle. What a start for Newey here. Manly just giving him the ball and just giving him the most prime opportunity ever. Fourth tackle now for Newcastle. They're going to be 8 metres away from the line. Phoenix Crossland. The attack is what we need to see, though. Callum Ponga, they go quickly, and Greg Marcy will score. Oh, Luke Brooks, have a word to yourself, mate. Luke Brooks, that is disgraceful. Luke Brooks, that is disgraceful. You go from receiving the ball to letting the ball bounce, go over the dead ball line, and now Greg Marcy is just going to score immediately. That is horrific stuff from Luke Brooks and Manly, and that shows you why people have such significant doubt in this Manly Seagulls side, because that is just not clocked on. That is not clocked on. That's nice there from the Knights, and Kalen Ponga is the one who ultimately sets this up here. You know, it's a really nice ball, and then a quick passing from Brabham Best out to Greggy Marcy, but... Wowee, you know, what an awful start there from Luke Brooks and Manly. Should have tried to put his foot over the dead ball line if he was going to do something stupid like that. He should have just caught the ball. It was nowhere close to going over the dead ball line, to being out in the full. But Luke Brooks won a Dally M Award in 2018. Yeah, but he was really good back then. Like at the Tigers, he had a really, really good year. Was it 2018 or 2017? 5/8 of the year. I can't remember. Maybe it was 2018. Time to drop Brookie for Walsh. It's time. Well, 100%. I've been saying this all pre-season. And I'm not going to blame it just on this. Like, if people are like, "Oh, wow, this is very, very harsh for one mistake there," it's not because of that one mistake. That's just a combination. You know, that's just another accumulated mistake there from Luke Brooks. That does make me want to see Joey Walsh as their 5/8. Well, Manly. They started off last week with 100% possession. Well, they've started off this first 3 minutes here with 0% possession, and they received the ball. As versus 2018, we won it. I believe the GOAT, Widdop, won it in 2017. Widdop won it in 2017. Oh, was he at the Storm then, or was he at the Dragons then? Was he at Melbourne or St. George in 2017, Gareth Widdop? Dead Set went back and used those lotto numbers. 10% channel tax if she gets up. Did you actually? Well, 4 is my birthday, 28 was Mum's birthday, 13 was Dad's birthday, and then I just started saying random numbers. Alright, so Manly, this is a sold-out stadium here at Brookie, good to see. Newcastle will get the ball here at the 15. Manly starting off like last week's Canberra Raiders against them. Best team in the comp, the Dragons he was. Yeah, I don't know about best team in the comp, Dragons 2017. Storm absolutely whooped the Cowboys in the grand final on that one, second tackle. Best team in the comp. Weren't you saying the other day how hard it is to be a Dragons fan? Was it yesterday? Don't know about that. Now the Knights, they'll be at the 40. Trey Mooney, I would have probably penalised Ethan Baltimore for that second attempt just now. Crossland off to Matt Croker, and Croker's at the 58. Manly might get to touch the ball here. Hey, woohoo! Dylan Brown from the halfway point. He puts that ball up. And Manly grab this ball at the 50. Oh, no, they look awful already, Manly. They drop the ball, but it goes backwards, luckily. Oh, dude, they look all over the shop in this first 4 minutes. Oh, man. Are Manly trying to lose, everyone says? Maybe. Maybe. At least he didn't knock it on, but maybe. They are looking into the sun here. in this first half, so that might be why they're having trouble with these kicks coming their way. But still, Jake Trbojevic gets his ball to the 40. It's really average behaviour. They go out to Ben Trbojevic, and Ben Trbojevic brings his ball to the 40 on fit tackle. It was a good run from Benny T. Fit tackle, Jake Simpkin. I think it is the sun in the Manly eyes that's making it a struggle for them to catch this ball. And Caleb Bonga finds that easy because the sun's not in his eyes. Jebba with the headgear, new mythical player. What a mythical player, man. Go to run the thumbs up, man. He is a thumbs up. He is the thumbs up king. Well, if you're going to like the video, do it in Jake Trbojevic style. Third tackle for Newcastle. They'll be at the 40. Dylan Lucas. Hey, mate, how's it going? Knock on galore, I see. There hasn't been a single knock on in this game. What are you talking about? There hasn't been a single knock on. What do you mean? You don't see nothing. There hasn't been a single knock on yet. Newcastle, they're at the halfway point, and Croker, he'll be at the 45. Out to Callum Ponga, and Ponga puts this ball into the corner. Just like go first on the tipping comp, Manly. Where are you situated in the tipping comp overall? I know you've been pretty good. I was, I think, 4th after last week, but now I'll drop a couple after this week, unfortunately. But, you know, premierships aren't won in March, are they, Dragons fans? Premierships aren't won in March. Well, at least you're not the March premiers this year with the way you've started. 3rd. Mate, you fire up. You must be doing pretty well in the Titans tipping comp. Like, overall, the Titans. Jamal Fogarty, good run there to the 35 on 4 tackle. And I think they've just called 6 again. There they have. And Luke Brooks is going to... No, sorry, Jake Simpkin runs his ball to the 45. It's a 6 again for Manly. Jamal Fogarty off to Taniela Paseka. And Paseka is going to be at the 45 on 2nd tackle. So we're not all there right now. Well, you know, we still haven't seen a knock-on just yet. At all. Luke Brooks up to Ben Trbojevic. And Ben Trbojevic will be at the 42 on 3rd tackle. What a beautiful day in Manly. Jake Trbojevic off to Ethan Bullimore. You'll love to see him run. Even though that was Kobe Hetherington. 4th tackle at the 30 of the Jamal Fogarty. Jamal Fogarty at the back to Olakawatu. Good strong run there from the big Hamoli. Fit tackle 20 metres away. They go quickly down the right-hand side. They kick this ball through. It's a good kick. It's a good kick. No, the Knights didn't knock that back, did they? They're going to check this. If this is a knock-on, this surely is a knock-on from Manly. I'm sure the Knights didn't knock this ball back in just now. I'm sure. There's no way that he... So he's... Oh, does he... Does he go forward into... Hold on. This is hard. And... Oh, I don't know about that, man. I would argue that's going backwards into Caleb Ponga and then... Oh, well, I would have made the argument. I think that was definitely a lot more of a... Let's look a bit deeper into this rather than just quickly say that he knocks that ball forward, because Saab does get his fingertips to it and then tips it back into Callum Ponga, and then it bounces off of Ponga into the try line. Anyway, it's going to be Knights ball here, first tackle at the 15. Look forward to me, or maybe, but I thought there was probably a bit more to look at there, because if anything it was going... So look, I'm okay with the call. I'm okay with it. I just feel like there could have been something a bit more to look for there. Ponga's foot was out when it hit him. Yeah, but that doesn't matter if it was forward anyway from Saab. It doesn't really matter. They go quickly right inside Dane Gagai. He's got Dom Young here. And Dom Young, oh no, nearly went over the sideline, but it'll be 4th tackle at 45. Knights look decent enough in attack as we currently speak. Even though Manly have been just dreadful so far. Oh, it's a really unfortunate tackle there. It's not a bad tackle, but it was really unfortunate. No, I don't think the refs got the blindfold on. I wanted to look more at it. I wasn't saying that it 100% was backwards or anything like that. I just wanted to look more at it. I don't think the referees have done anything wrong so far, and it's not like that would have been overturned anyway. So that will be Jason Saab gets his ball to the 20. They give it off to Ruben Garrick, and Garrick now, he'll be at the 25 on 3rd tackle. Marcus says, about to be at Suncorp Blaze at near 3:17. Well, go the Titans, son. Fire up. Fire up Gold Coast. Hope Cooper By scores 3 tries today for his father. Fourth tackle at the 35. Jake Trbojevic. And he'll give it off to Kobe Hetherington. It'll be 5th tackle at 45. Not the most exciting here from Manly as we currently speak. It's just a bit of a slog from their end at the moment. And the Knights have been making a decent amount of meters, but Ponga's going to grab this ball here at the 20, and he'll bring it out to the 25 on first tackle. You know the drums aren't there. I don't even know why you said surely the drums are there. You know the drums aren't there. They've never been there. They've never been at a Suncorp game because Suncorp has never allowed us. The drums have never been away from Seabus. What do you mean surely the drums are there? Third tackle now at the 42, and Phoenix Crossland goes out to the left-hand side. Sandon Smith and Dylan Lucas taken down to the 42 on fourth tackle. They're definitely playing the better as we speak here in Newcastle. Now Dylan Brown to Kalen Ponga at the 40. Oh, nice little step there. Absolutely shoves off Luke Brooks. Oh, Luke Brooks, it's time, dude. It's time. Please get Joey Walsh in. They offload the ball there. Kalen Ponga at the 15. And off to Sandon Smith. Sandon Smith, Jay Simpkin can't make the tackle. And they'll finally make the tackle around the 15 here. It's going to be fifth. Luke Brooks, bro. That defense was awful. 15 out. Dylan Brown. Not the play there from Brown, but they get the flick pass off to Dom Young. Dom Young loses the ball, and it will be Manly getting it at the 10. 10 minutes gone here in the first half. 30 minutes to go. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. 10 minutes gone here. Yeah, Brooks has been just awful today so far, Brim. How's the flick from Ponga? Ponga's been on fire, man. He's looking really good at the moment. He's looking really solid, the old Kalen Ponga. Second tackle here for Manly at the 35, and they're going to go off to Lehigh Pawade. Brings it to the 43. Just give us this is looking very much like what we expected in regards to like the bland play as we currently speak. I know it's super early in the game, but it just has been super bland from Manly, whilst the Knights have had a little bit of something. They're not necessarily scoring every time, but they're just showing a bit of oomph this Knights side. And I'm surprised they're not going down to Taquola's side at all. They're really just focusing on Ruben Garrick and Jason Saab. And they're going again down this side of Ruben Garrick and Jason Saab. I don't know why they're not going down the... Oh, great work there from Monica Watu, but he will drop the ball. And Knights will beat the 15. Had Cowboys won 2017, would that have been the all-time run in history making winning outside the top four and better than Bronx run? Bronx was unreal. Second tackle now for the Knights, and they're going to be at the 38. Second tackle, and now Bradman Best at the 45. As it says, find this number 7 tackle set, drop the ball in goal, dumb. So what? You're saying that if you drop the ball inside the in goal, that's going to be a knock-on here from Manly. Yep, 6 again coming up for Newcastle. You're saying if you drop the ball in the in goal, it shouldn't be a 7 tackle set? I disagree. That definitely should be a 7 tackle set based on how we've been in the game. How this game has been put forward. Why? You know, you're risking. I think that it's worth the risk. Like you're knocking the ball on inside their in goal. I don't understand why that wouldn't be punishable. So second tackle now for the Knights, and they're going to be 13 metres out from the line. They roll it back here to Phoenix Crossland. Crossland off to Kalen Ponga. Kalen Ponga 10 metres away off to Dylan Brown. Brown over the top. Dom Young. Dom Young will score. Manly look awful, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Manly look absolutely horrific here. They don't look like they give a shit at all. Newcastle have been solid in regards to their attack, but Manly is showing absolutely nothing here. They have been boring and they've been bland when they've had the ball, which they've had the ball for most of this game so far, mind you. And their defense is just so weak. Look at this. It's just so poor. Like, I don't know what Lehigh Pawade is doing there on defense, but it's just so poor. We're not seeing anything from Manly right now. That is Lehigh Pawade who's rushed up there. Total Taquola actually held himself pretty well, but Lehigh Pawade is the one who runs in off of his line and opens it up for Dom Young, and it's an easy try in the corner. Manly don't look good right now. They look really, really poor. Not a good start for us, not at all. Not at all. But 13 minutes in, and the Knights are going to get a conversion here from the sideline. Knights fans getting up and at 'em here at Brookvale. Well, they're seeing points, so if you're a Knights fan, you're seeing points and you're happy to be at least getting a bit of something. Just a little bit of something here. You know, when I criticise Manly, I'm not saying the Knights don't deserve to be where they are. The Knights definitely deserve to be in this situation right now. It's just Manly have been so disappointing. Maui says, without DC, they won't win much matches. No, I think it's with Anthony Seibold they're not going to win much matches. Their forward pack is underwhelming. Their back line isn't as exciting as it was a couple of years back. And I disagree with the halves pairing as well. And that will be a conversion. 12-0 here to the Knights. 12-0. Expected bet looking good, I'm pretty sure now. Who's the try scorers? Who was the try scorers that he had again? He had Best, Brown, and Cobbo to score. It's a 2-game multi-Knights to win. Well, Best hasn't scored yet. Brown hasn't scored yet. So he's still got to get those try scorers. But I'm sure, surely, Manly find a way to turn around to this game. Surely, this is just embarrassing in this first 14 minutes in front of a packed-out Brookvale. How long does Anthony Seibold last for mine? The questions have to be starting to be answered. Sorry. Not answered. I believe there's an answer, but the questions have to surely be starting to ask. First tackle, I give it up to Dom Young. And Dom Young brings this ball here to the 20. And there... I thought I heard the whistle there. Crossland, second tackle. At least the Knights are... he's lost the ball there. Okay, so I was one tackle early. So Manly are going to get the ball to 30. Okay, show us something here, Manly. It's so boring right now, Manly. Show us something. The Knights are the exciting ones in this game as we currently speak. Newcastle, the team we criticised all year last year for being so poor, they've been the ones actually exciting to watch compared to Manly. Knights are looking very good. I don't know about very good. Manly looking very bad, but Knights are doing exactly what they need to do right now. They're looking a lot better than what they were last year. But Manly have just been dreadful so far. So Manly at the 30. And Taniela Paseka is going to be at the 27 on first tackle. Can a coach be sacked any time in the season, or is there like a deadline early in the season, sort of like a mid-season player signing? No, I think you can be signed. You can be sacked at any time. Oh, that's going to be right on through from Jamal Fogarty, and that is a good try there for Jamal. We finally see something from Manly. Finally, we see something. Not great defense there from Newcastle, and it's 12-4 with a kick to come. If they're still playing like this 4th or 5th round, show them the door. This is shitouts from Manly. It is, but at least he scored there. Who gets fired first, Seibold or Payton? Peter says, for mine, probably Payton. I think Todd Payton probably is the one that gets it gone there first. But Seibold is not a far shout away. That was way too easy there from Jamal Fogarty. Just goes straight through Trey Mooney and Phoenix Crossland defensively. And that was way too easy there for Fogs. So 12-4, and it should be 12-6 any moment now. And that's the thing. We always say, just because we heavily criticise this first 15 minutes here from Manly does not mean they don't go on and win the game. I still do have Manly to win the game. It's just that they're so bland and boring and they just don't do anything. They're not doing anything, but at least Jamal has changed that around and got a try. Yeah, probably Payton and Seibold the week after. Weiss Seagulls will dominate the second half. I don't know if Manly have dominate in them at the moment, but I still back them to win this game. It's just poor defense there from Trey Mooney and Phoenix Crossland. Jamal's just run that ball straight on through. Jamal has had a decent enough start here. He did score a try in his debut game for Manly last week against the Raiders, against his former club, and he scored another try here in his second game here at Manly. So he's got a 100% try scoring record at Manly throughout his games at the moment. 100% try scoring record. Jamal Fogarty looking into the light. The sun is blasting down his throat here. Blasting down his throat. I do feel like that the reason why they've made those early mistakes, wow, Fogarty does curl that in, and it will be 12 points to 6. I do feel like these early mistakes coming from that sunlight is because they are directly looking into the sun, because you've seen two different players on two different occasions make those early mistakes. Yeah, look, the dummy was solid, but Trey Mooney buys into that way too much. Like, he went all in on that dummy, man. He went all in on that. He left himself no chance to recover on that dummy. What a kick, thought he missed it. It did look originally like he was going to miss it, but kickers, they get a good curl, they get a good spin on their kicks nowadays. Very Jonathan Thurston-esque. Well, actually, not even nowadays. It's been a thing forever. It's not like a new phenomenon. So Taniela Paseka, he's going to bring this ball to the 12 on first tackle. Who else kicks like that? Was Hazem a curler kick as well? I can't remember. Obviously Thursday was. Scott says, would you trade Cooper By... No. What? Would I trade Cooper By for a Rama Howe? They're both ours. They're both Titans players. What do you mean would I trade Cooper Bye for a Rama Howe? What? They're both our players. 4 tackled out to 33. And they'll give it out to Jake Trbojevic to Luke Brooks, then off to Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic goes inside and gets the offload away to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks still going here. Luke Brooks is away here. Luke Brooks to the 40. Well, Manly's starting to turn on a little bit now. Turning on a little bit. Jamal Fogarty will punch that ball down to the 10, and Kalen Ponga will grab it at the 9. Okay, a little bit of a turnaround in the momentum of this game. Wasn't Trey Mooney the one arcing up to Hines and the All-Stars? I think so. I think you're right. I can't really remember, but I think you're right. Third tackle. They'll be at the 30. Greg Martiu out to Dylan Lucas. I don't think Lucas has really kind of shunned so far this season. He had a really good last couple of years. Crossland goes for a long drive along the ground. 40-20-ish attempt, but Tom Trbojevic will get that ball at the 20 and brings it back here to the 25 to the 30. They haven't even really... They've actually gone down one time this left-hand side with Tol Takwal and Lee Hubawade, and they actually did make that break just then. So maybe you should start to think about going down that side a little bit more. I'll give it to Ruben Garrick, and Garrick's going to bring this ball to the 40. And Jamal Fogarty, he'll go across to Luke Brooks. Yeah, commentary's talking about too. They're not even bringing in Tol Takwal into this contest right now. Fox AR momentum track going crazy right now. Luke Brooks, they go quickly to the left, and he doesn't pass it. At least we're saying something from them, though. They're going to kick that ball into the corner, and here's Tolotau chasing Callum Ponga. Bushka! That's a massive hit from Tolotau, and it's a knock-on from Kalen. Wow, that is a huge play there from Kola. That is a massive play. He just comes in, lines him up, forces the error. What an absolute slap. Tolotau Kola makes that speedy play right into Callum Ponga, and he drops the ball. Gives him a bit of a how you going to let him know that was me, baby. That was me. Welcome to the damn well show here at Brookie. 20 minutes to go here in the first half, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. He chopped him. He chopped him. 20 minutes to go here of the first half. What a play. Count your ribs, Ponga. Ribs are gone. This is what I'm saying. You have to get Tolotau involved in the game. Garrick here at the 10. And it's going to be first tackle. Showing us a little bit of something now, Manly. We're not just sitting here criticising and complaining about them the whole time. Showing them a little bit of something. And Hetherington, he will be 5 metres away here from the line. Second tackle. They go out to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty to Ben Trbojevic. Ben Trbojevic offloads it. And that's going to be a knock-on here from Newcastle. Knock-on. So fresh set of 6 coming up for the Manly. 10 metres away. Fresh set of 6. Goal probably scores if Dom Young doesn't slap that ball down, so it's a good knockdown. Yeah, well, he would have. He would have. Yeah, because they would have had Lee Hubawade. He probably fakes it to Lehigh and cuts in. You just need to keep coming down this left-hand side, man. It's defensively susceptible. Tom Trbojevic. Oh, don't worry about that. He might score himself here. He might score himself here. He might score himself here. Bang! Tommy Trbojevic will score, and it's 12-10 with a kick to come, and the game changes just like that. 12-10 with a kick to come. Manly, bit of that's gold in the crowd. Tom Trbojevic, way too easy there. This nice defense. They've given up a couple of opportunities, and Manly have scored on both of them. Ola Kawatu was complaining he got held off there, but yeah, Tom Trbojevic, so strong there, just absolutely punches through Phoenix Crossland, and there you go. Too easy for the big Tommy T. That evened up real quick. Manly just, they flicked the switch, sorry, is what I should say. This game has been very disappointing from Manly in the first 15 minutes, but outside of that, they've been able to really turn the switch on for this last 10. Like I says, don't do this to me, Newcastle. What do you mean, don't do this to me? Why do you care what happens in this game? Have you, unless you've tipped Newcastle, is that what you're suggesting? Sandon Smith, that was really poor defense. He was completely in no man's land there. He wasn't making a tackle on Olakwatu, and he didn't get anywhere close to making a tackle on Tom Trbojevic. Sandon Smith defensively there, that was really poor. Really, really poor. So 18 minutes left of the first half, and it should be a tie game. I tipped them. What was your reasoning behind tipping? What was your reasoning? I don't think it's wrong. Like, at the end of the day, they could still win this game, and I think it's a fair shout to say that maybe they could have won this game, but what was your reasoning behind it? Any weaknesses you've seen from the Knights so far? Yeah, their defense. Yes. Absolutely. Jamal Fogarty. He will miss the kick. Damn. That's a bad missed kick there from Jamal. He definitely should have been getting that. So it will stay 12-10 to Newcastle with 18 minutes left in the first half. 12-10 Knights. That's a very terrifying finish there from Tom Trbojevic. Shows that he's still got that strength in him. Sort of similar reason to why he tipped him in Vegas. Why did I tip him in Vegas? Why did I tip him in Vegas? Do you think that Manly are a team below the Cowboys this year? I don't know about that. Got a couple of those in him. He definitely does. So Manly will get this ball. Please, Luke Brooks actually catch that one. He does in the in-goal. And Manly bring it out through Taniela Paseka to the 10. That momentum definitely swung. Missed a similar kick first round finals last year. I don't even remember. I can't believe you remember a first round finals kick. Tyler says, Turbo need to stay healthy and return back to form. Well, it's not like he's out of form. He just return back to form. It's not like he's in bad form, Tom Trbojevic. Turbo now, he'll get this ball to the 35. And you've definitely seen this game change. They go quickly down the left-hand side. Luke Brooks. Brooks is going. Won't get the offload away. You reckon it was harsh taking Garrick off kicking duties for Fogg? If I'm not incorrect, they seem around the same skill level. No, I think it's fair enough. I think it's fair enough. I don't think there's like a too massive of a negative either way there, really, though. And they'll put that ball down to the 15 to the 20. Dom Young will grab it. And he'll be taken down now at the 25. I just tipped them for the surprise factor. Well, that wasn't why I tipped the Knights, though. You said that was the reason, like a similar reason as to why I tipped the Knights against the Cowboys. I tipped the Knights against the Cowboys because I thought that even though the Knights long term, I don't have them for the spoon now, but even though I thought the Knights will still be extremely struggling long term, I do still have the Cowboys to be a really poor team this year, which has been proven right in the first two rounds. But Kanaponga taking out the 45-4 tackle. But the reason I tipped the Knights is because it's a bit of a throwaway game, Vegas. The Cowboys didn't look great. The Knights, they've got a fresh start under a new coach, and the Cowboys were a very, very vulnerable team to sneak a win against in the opening round, and there just was no excitement coming from North Queensland, so I thought there was a bit of a sneaky upset chance there. So that can't be, that's why I asked you, like, what was my reasoning behind it, that you've said there's a similar reasoning for you in this one, because it's a very different context. I can see why you would have tipped the Knights. I'm not saying that it's a wrong tip. I'm just saying that doesn't make sense in regards to, like, I tipped the Knights for this reason, and you're taking the same reason, but it's not necessarily the case. Brenton says, good kick chase from Saifidi. Sundo says, it's my underdog pick of the week up the Knights. We would have been confident in the first 15 minutes. And now you'd probably be a little bit stressed with the way this last 10 minutes has played out in favour of Manly. So Lee Harper-Wade is going to bring this ball here to the 22. That Raiders-Broncos game, I can't forget it. And if he got the kick, they would have won. Oh, true. Okay, that was an unbelievable game, though. Tommy T. He's looking really good today. Tom Trbojevic, Luke Brooks. He's going to run this ball straight. Good run there from him. Fifth tackle at 45. But I don't think it's harsh switching out Garrick for Fogarty in regards to the kick. That's a great kick. It's going to sit up in the in-goal. That's an unbelievable kick. And now Dom Young. Jeez, that was risky from Newcastle. The ascendancy is absolutely in favour of Manly right now. Knights have got to work their way back into this game. At least we're getting a close game here, though. You know, we haven't seen many of these this week. At least we're getting a close game right now. I see, to be fair, Seagulls and Cowboys probably going to be around the same this year. Maybe ladder-wise, but I think that Manly is still a better team than North Queensland. Oh, Brabham Best away here. Brabham Best away. There's an easy try coming up. He's got Kalen Pong on his left-hand side. Jason Saab chasing through, though. Jason Saab chasing through. Jason Saab! Oh, Kalen Ponga still gets it! Kalen Ponga with the try. Brabham Best with an unbelievable run, and it's going to be 16-10 with a kick to come. It is horrible defence, Ibrahim. It is horrible defence. Kalen Ponga with the try time. And it is 16-10 with a kick to come. Oh no, Kalen Ponga is down injured right now. No, you don't like to see this. God bless him. No, I think he's okay. Yeah, maybe he's just still feeling those ribs from the other hit of Fogarty. You do not want to see that with Kalyn Ponga going down injured. He's got a poor injury history. That was a really... look, I wouldn't even say that's bad defense. You know, that's just a really nice line there from Bradman Best. They shaped out with Kalyn Ponga rushing out to the left, out the back. And then with Kalyn Ponga distracting the defense, thinking, okay, well, maybe they're doing that out-back play. They give it to Bradman Best, and he just has a really strong line right through the middle. And we'll score. We'll get the offload away. Bradman Best wasn't scoring that. That was going to be Tom Trbojevic getting a defensive tackle anyway. Dan Cappy took the hit and then scored the try. What a player. Fantastic player, man. Oberly is alright. Largin says trash versus garbage game. It kind of is, man. I'm not going to lie. It really is. Both these teams are given a lot of open range for criticism. Both of them, for sure. Andre says Sub should make that tackle. Sub should have done better in regards to the tackle of Kalyn Ponga, but also Kalyn Ponga has the advantage there. He's in front. He's just got his arm here to protect, and then he can just keep him at bay. Sub should be making a better attempt at it, but at the end of the day, I don't necessarily blame him for not being able to get Kalyn Ponga on the run, as he's got the advantage. Brighton says, looking better than my team right now. Sure, but I fully expect the Broncos will turn it around at some point. And they get the kick. Are the Cowboys, Knights, and Manly the three worst four-packs this season? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm trying to think of who would have a worse forward-pack on paper. Who would have a worse forward-pack on paper? Maybe... No, that's probably right. That's probably right, yeah. If someone can debate that, please do in the chat. I'd probably agree with that. So 13 minutes left of the first half. It is 18-10 to Newcastle. In terms of defense, it is. Yeah, this is definitely looking like a no-defense kind of game here from both these teams. Like when Manly have had an opportunity, they've scored. When Knights have put together an opportunity, they've scored. So both these teams are struggling in terms of defense for sure. Newcastle now at the 22. Going to be first tackle. But with that being said, I definitely do like seeing the Knights are at least showing some attack compared to last year, because they were poor to watch last year, man. The Knights now get up to Kalyn Ponga. And now that ball's going to hit the grass, but Greg Martiu, he'll be taken down at 30. I just disagree with Manly's game plan here. They just keep going down the right-hand side of Bradman Best and Greg Martiu. And it's like, defensively, I would definitely like to target the opposite side, which is Dom Young and Dane Gagai. That's going to hit the grass. Dom Young does pick it up, and he's going to be taken over the sideline. No, he just stays inside. Storm 4-pack is a bit how you going. Storm wouldn't be too far away from it on paper, but then again, Harry Grant's still a part of their forward, so that's why that will bring it up. But overall, collectively, yeah. Yeah, Joe Chan, Ativalu Lusati. They don't have Trent Loiero right now. They don't have Sean Bloor right now. They don't have Elias Katoa right now. Yeah. Most of the tries were conceded by the Raiders were all through Tamale, from Tanner's kicking game to Tamale every damn time, and kept the pressure on him to force an error and ball contest. Okay, so Manly now at the 20. And Ethan Bullimore will get his ball to the 33 on 4 tackle. Kalyn Ponga is off the field here, guys. Kalyn Ponga has come off the field, and Fletcher Hunt is now going to be playing in their fullback position. Manly will get the ball here at the 40. Has a big loss there. Sharks did. Duraz, don't do this to yourself, brother. Oh, that's going to awfully bounce. Sharks did okay. There is no... I can't believe you've just said this. Sharks went okay. We lost by 20, but some tough calls. We did all right. Panthers just too good. You did all right? Are you shitting me? You lose 26-6 to the Panthers, and you're saying that you've done all right? Brother, what? 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 You think that was an all right game for the Sharkies yesterday? No, Duraz. Come on, bro. Keep your team accountable, man. No way. No way have you just said that the Sharks were all right against the Panthers yesterday. You lost 26-6 as a team that's in a prelim final in back-to-back years. You have done nothing to prove anything in regards to this team being a good team. How can you relatively celebrate that result yesterday? You've drunk. You're off your rocker, brother. You're off your rocker. I love the Sharkies, but you are off your absolute rocker. XP says, what happened to Ponga? I was relying on him for fantasy. He's gone off injured, man, unfortunately. He has gone off injured. That's drunk. He's drunk. Dear me. So, yeah, you're not a Cowboys. You're meant to be taking them 80 minutes even more. Exactly right. Think about how your team is meant to be. You're meant to be winning those kind of games. You're meant to be competing in those kind of games. Losing 26-6. You weren't competing in that game. What? Fletcher Hunt will be the fullback here, Ibrahim for the Newcastle Knights now. So Jamal Fogarty, he's going to kick this ball down to the corner. Well, not to the corner, went straight to the middle. I thought he was shaping up to the corner, but Fletcher Hunt picks it up and he'll bring this ball out here to the 30 on first tackle. 10 minutes to go the first half, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. 10 minutes to go. I love it going with you. I can't believe that. As if you would say the Sharkies were right yesterday. Pong was clutching his hammy. Probably won't be back today. You hate to see that, man. He has had hammy issues throughout his career. Lagan says it was hard to finish watching the 8 last night. They were genuinely shit. Yeah. And it'll be 6 again for Newcastle. Oh, here we go. Duras says, look, I know we lost by 20. And we have shown we can't beat good sides. That should be about it, really. We deserve criticism. Absolutely. But we had 2 tries conceded off knock-ons. Oh, no. Panthers kept Bronx to 0. We definitely need to improve. There's no positives to take from yesterday, bro. It's the same thing. It's the same old Sharks. You need to go and beat teams like that. You aren't the Titans. You aren't the Cowboys. You aren't the Dragons. You are meant to be a good team. This is the same result you've had for the last 4 consecutive years in a row. So the Manly Sea Eagles get this ball to the 45. There is nothing positive to take from yesterday. Ignore the game, say that didn't happen, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully put on a better performance against whoever you play. You know, it's about doing it against the next big team you play, because obviously yesterday didn't work. Does that mean you're out of the comp? No. You know, you're still completely fine in the comp, and you're still a very good team. But you're a very good team against the poor teams, and you're a very poor team against the big teams. At the end of the day, the Panthers showed you levels yesterday. There shouldn't be a positive you're taking out of that game. There's nothing to positive to take out of that Panthers Sharks game yesterday. That doesn't mean that their season is done. I still think the Sharks will be up there and still be doing well this year. But it just shows to me they're not premiership ready at the moment, that's for sure. So out to the left-hand side to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks to Tolutau Kuala. And Kuala is going to run to the 20 here. And then he's going to bring this ball to the 15. And it's going to be 4 tackle here for Manly on the attack. Tom Trebojevic out to Luke Brooks. I don't know what this is from Manly. Ethan Bullimore. He'll push off one. He's going to be 11 metres away from the line. And off they go to Jay Trebojevic. Trebojevic to Luke Brooks. Then off to Tolutau Kuala. Kuala kicks that ball into the corner. Leo wanted to come through, but it'll be a drop out. It'll be a drop out. Other money says, is it a hamstring injury or a cramp for Callum Ponga? Well, it can't be cramp because he's off for the field and in the sheds. I feel like it might be a hammy. But God bless him. I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. Aswick says, Deraz, I go with the Dragons. We lost to 26 to the Storm and we played horrible. No good signs from that. Nah, I disagree with you. I'll disagree with Deraz, but I'll disagree with you too. I think the Dragons did. Yeah, Brighton, you're right. I thought the Dragons showed heaps of ticker until the last 10. Yeah, the last 15 was diabolical, but at the end of the day, the Dragons were the better team for 60, 65 minutes of that game, and then they just completely threw it away in the end. I think that the Dragons showed plenty of good signs in that game, but at the end of the day, they still ended up, oh no, Manly. Oh, Manly, painful to watch them, bro. They're just gonna let that ball bounce over the sidelines. The Knights will get the dropout. Oh, Manly, so painful to watch. Why is no player touching that from Manly side? Why is no player touching that? Unfortunately, it's a bit of a shitfest right now. So yeah, Callum Ponga has been ruled out with a hamstring, guys. He has been ruled out with a hamstring. Aspects to your Dragons, though, you showed much more fight for what you're expected to finish, but I get why you'd be frustrated you still lost by 26. Getting frustrated by the loss by 26 is valid, and giving up 46 points is valid, but the Dragons showed plenty of good signs yesterday still. So yeah, it is a hamstring, unfortunately, for Callum Ponga, lads, and you hate to see that after such a positive start for him. Second tackle now for the Knights at the 25. Royal Grand Majesty says, seems like some fans have given up on their sides beating the Panthers. Losing by lower margin compared to other teams is a decent outcome for them now. That is how that comes across. I agree. That is how that comes across. That's why I bite back at it as heavily as I did. Tom Trebojevic knocks that ball back inside, so it's not a 40-20. especially where Sharks fans should have their mindset at. Like that shows me where the Sharks mentality is right now. If that's a overall consensus opinion from the Sharks that yesterday wasn't too bad, that tells me exactly where the Sharks are at as a club, and it's not good. Second tackling out the 22. You should be ripping that team for yesterday. You should rip that team. Did Manly forget to get off the bus? It did, but they're still in the game. But yeah, they have really been quite poor here in this first half. Brandon Wakem with a good run, and now 4th tackle for Luke Brooks. He'll be at the 35 on 5th tackle. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Can Manly do something? And Jamal Fogarty puts that ball up into the corner where that's going to be knocked on from Manly. Oh, dude, Manly look pits, man. They look pits, bro. This game is a tough watch, man. So if I come across bias, I try to hold the Sharks as much as accountable, and we still haven't proven we have beaten or have the ability to be premiership contenders, so no disagreement there. You're entitled to your opinion, man. I'm just going to give you my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I just think that if you're thinking that it was a success-ish yesterday, which is what you kind of come across with, that it was an okay result, it's like, well, no. If it's like the Titans would be taking a game like yesterday as a success. Not a success, but as a positive that, they didn't get absolutely flogged. They only... Oh, that's really bad defense there from Manly. Oh, dude, Manly look awful, man. Manly look awful. Manly look awful. They just don't look anywhere near up to scratch in this game. Oh, boy. Dylan Brown's back down a back play too. God bless him. Oh, dude, look at this defense from Manly. Oh, my God. I feel like I'm watching the Gold Coast Titans play, and I'm a Titans fan. I feel like I'm watching the Titans play, and I'm a Titans fan. This defense from Manly is actually horrific. Buddy Mount Drew at under 17s would have scored past that just then. That is horrific. Oh, my gosh. Well, Newcastle, you should be happy with your 24 points you're probably about to have, but I'm sorry that it's not a positive towards you. You're just looking at this Manly side, and they just don't care. This Manly side has not cared in this game so far. Boy, oh boy. Fletcher Hunt will score. He came off a counter point, got injured. Dylan Brown is down in back play. God bless him, hope he's okay. Brighton says Titans win today. Don't lump them in with Manly. Hopefully, man. But, over the years, this Manly defense right now, oh, yikes. This has nothing to do with DCE, Bunnies. Absolutely nothing to do with a halfback in regards to why they're performing as badly as they are. This has nothing to do with that. MVP Bill says who scored? It was Fletcher Hunt who scored, man. Fletcher Hunt scored for the Newcastle Knights. Dylan Brown with the assist. It's just the back of the legs come down awkwardly there for Dylan Brown, and Fletcher Hunt will score the try to the pose. What does this result and how Manly are playing have anything to do? If anything, Jamal Fogarty's been their better player. How is this anywhere near what... And also, Manly did nothing with DCE last year as well. So 24-10 here to the Knights. 2.5. At least Dylan Brown is moving around fine on the field. That's good to see that he's not injured. And Newcastle. Greg Marcy brings his ball out to the 25. 2 minutes 20 to go in the first half. I just can't believe it. Second tackle, Anthony Seibold honestly needs to be sending his marching orders at half time. At half time. Paisami Saula, he'll get his ball to the 30. And Crossland, he'll go to Matt Croker. And Croker, he'll be at the 50 on 4th tackle now. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it was Paisami Saula. Sorry, I thought my brain for a second. Thought he was still at the Raiders. Norman says, Manly, what's going on, you guys? They're not going on. There's nothing going on Manly right now. Nothing going on Manly. And, oh. Manly have just conceded a try at Tyson Frizzell. I just have no words, lads. I have no words. Just the ball is dropped again from Manly today, and Tyson Frizzell just walks over the line with the ball. It was just Manly embarrassing. Dude, this is embarrassing from Manly. Yeah, ugly footy from Manly, Tyler. This is real ugly stuff, man. That is such a poor drop there from... no pressure on the kick at all. No, there was pressure on the kick, but Tom shouldn't have been dropping that ball. There was still pressure on the kick, though. But not like significant pressure. And yeah, the Knights are going to go up 30-10. Well done to the Knights. You can't blame the Knights, but like they've been given the easiest 2 games imaginable right now, based off of how Manly and the Cowboys have been. Manly really becoming the Cowboys right now. Dude, like, if you're a Knights fan, you should be absolutely over the moon that you've been given such an easy start with these 2 teams. Wowee. Peter says, Manly have 2 organising halfbacks. This creates poor defence and predictable attack. Well, I've been saying, Joey Walsh needs to be the 5'8", and Jamal Fogarty needs to be the 7. Simple as that. So 4 seconds left here in the first half. And Sandon Smith will make it 30 points to 10 to the Knights. And that should be half-time. It should be half-time. Pong was up during a try. Hopefully it's a sign it's not that bad. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Look, Knights, you're absolutely over the moon that you've got 30 points here. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. I do feel like you've been kissed on the dick in regards to the 2 teams you've been able to play so far in the Knights and Manly, because if I was saying the two worst teams that I've seen so far this season, like, look, the Titans are definitely going to be there for people who try to bounce back with that, but Cowboys and Manly across 2 games so far, or game and a half for Manly, 2 games with Cowboys, have clearly been my 2 worst teams. They really have been. So I hope the Titans at least put in an effort today so we can say that they're not a part of that, but right this very second they would be. It's just not been an enjoyable game to watch at all from Manly's perspective, like just literally at all. There is nothing positive about them. Like, they had a 5-minute stint between the 14th and the 20th minute where they really turned the momentum on, and then from then just completely disappeared again and gave up 3 quick tries, and all of them being really easy tries that anybody would score. Like, it's really poor here from Manly, and that's why you're so critical of it. You know, I want to sit here and say, like, Knights' attack has been unbelievable. Their Knights' attack in the first 10-15 minutes was really good. It was really strong, and the momentum was absolutely in their favour. But then since then, the tries that they've scored have just been awful defensive plays. Like, just absolutely horrific defensive plays. That try just then from Tyson Frizzell should never have been scored. Ever should have been scored. The one just previously where Fletcher Hunt ran through. The Bradman Best's pass to Kalen Ponga was actually really good. That was not good. That was not bad defense. That was actually just really good attacking play, because they set up Kalen Ponga at the back for a distraction, and then Bradman Best runs the line. He gets through and then gets it off to Kalen Ponga once it's 2-on-1 with the fullback. That was a really good try from Newcastle. Outside of that, the Fletcher Hunt, the Tyson Frizzell, and even the Dom Young tries have been really poor defense overall. Just really, really, really poor. And you could tell that Manly were going to be like this today as soon as Luke Brooks allowed that ball off of the kickoff to bounce and then go over the dead ball line, off of the literal kickoff of this game. You just knew Manly weren't on. You just knew that Manly weren't clicked on. Gary says, I wish I was over in Australia because my mate will be 100% spitting over this Manly performance. Oh, dude, if you're a Manly fan, my dad would be fuming. My dad would be fuming right now. He's a Manly fan. He'd be absolutely spewing. It's just not Manly. You know, this isn't what you expect from the Sea Eagles at all. So, yeah, Manly fans, they have every right to be pretty ticked off right now. Sports Life says Manly haven't been good, but Fogarty's look good for them. Fogarty, yeah, that's why I said when someone said before that Manly don't look good without Cherry Evans. It's like, it's not Cherry Evans. This isn't Cherry Evans' fault. There's nothing to do with the halfback. If anything, Jamal Fogarty's been their best player. But I just feel like they need some X factor in the halves. They need Joe Walsh in that 6. Do I think that means they win the comp? No, but you know, start setting up your future. Luke Brooks isn't good enough. I'm sorry, Luke Brooks. He's had plenty of time to prove himself. He has had a long time. He's been in the competition for dead set like 10 or so years now. 9 or 10 years. Charles is realistically, who do you think will win the Dolphins versus Titans? I think that it is honestly a 50-50, man. The Dolphins' defense is absolutely horrific, and the Titans' defense isn't great either. Both teams can attack. The last time we saw the two teams played, it was only a 6-point game in favour of the Dolphins, 36-30, and it was a very, very close game until the last 5 minutes of it. where the Dolphins, I think, scored. No, sorry, the Dolphins were up big, and then Titans came rocketing back into it, just couldn't get over the line at the end. Dolphins defensively last week didn't look great. Titans defensively didn't look great last week, and I think the Dolphins are vulnerable. They lost four of their first 4 games in the season last year before they beat the Titans. So realistically, I do think it's a tough game to predict. Obviously, the favourites are going to be the Dolphins, and that's no surprise whatsoever there. But I do realistically think that either team can win that game, and because of that, I will tip my team. But realistically, it can go either way. Realistically, it can go either way. But anyway, let's look at some of the stats here Let's look at the stats here at halftime. Obviously, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here. Newcastle Knights with 30 points, Manly with 10 points. Try score for Knights, Greg Martiu, Dom Young, Kalen Ponga, Fletcher Hunt, and Tyson Frizzell, with Manly being Jamal Fogarty and Tom Trebojevic. The conversions 5 from 5 for Newcastle. Kalen Ponga got the first 2, then he got injured, unfortunately, and Santa Smith converted the rest of them, whilst Jamal Fogarty is 1 from 2 with his. Possession-wise, 52% for the Knights, 48% for Manly, so basically even. Time of possession, we're not seeing, we're just seeing it actually. So 13 minutes and 1 second for the Knights, 11 minutes and 59 seconds for Manly time possession. So that is literally on the dot 25 minutes. That is the most flatline marker I've ever seen in my life when it comes to time possession. You want to be seeing at least 25 minutes. It is exactly 25 minutes on the dot. So it's like, it's not unbelievable time possession, but at least it's getting to the point where you need it to be at a minimum, right, is the bare minimum. Completion rate, you want to be seeing at least 80%. Well, both teams aren't really dropping the ball here. 85% for Manly, 17 from 20. That's actually pretty good. That's really good there in a completion rate. But 80% for the Newcastle Knights with 17 from 21 is also really, really good. Attacking-wise, runs, 78 runs here for Manly for 705 run metres. So if you're looking at 10 metres an average per run marker, they're 75 metres behind that. Newcastle, they're at 94 runs for 893 run metres. So they would be about 47 metres behind the 10 metres an average per run that you're looking for. They need 940. They're at 893. Manly would need 780. They're at 705. So the Knights are slightly in favour there. If you try to bring it out to that 10 metres an average per run, they're slightly in favour. But at the end of the day, it's 190. It's basically about 190 metres separating the two of them right now. I think it's 188 to be specific. Now, post-contact metres, though, with the 16 less runs for Manly, they've actually got more post-contact metres. 220 post-contact metres for Manly through 78 runs, whilst the Knights have 219 post-contact metres through 94. That is a significant gap, bro. That is a significant gap. Like post-contact meters there, that if you give them those extra 16 runs here for Manly, like it's hard to decipher how many post-contact meters will come. But with that being said, they would be significantly advantaged. So that is a massive number there for Manly. Line breaks is 5-2 to the Knights. That's really, really good. Tackle breaks is 26-10 to the Knights. Awful defence from Manly. Really good defence actually from the Knights. Their 10 tackle breaks, but also Manly's attack has been so bland and so boring as we currently speak that is a big telling point there too, because when we saw Manly get their 2 opportunities in the Knights defensive line, the Knights gave up those 2 really, really quick tries and pretty simply as well. So the tackle breaks there is kind of showing me more about Manly than the Knights, but with that being said, I don't want to shoot on the Knights in that capacity. Average set distance, 25 metres and under. Turn the stream off, it's pathetic. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. 50 plus is basically perfect. Manly at 35.3 is extremely low end of hitting the marker, so at least they're getting the amount of metres, and that's what the run metres to the runs suggested with 705 from 78. It does suggest that 35.3 is just bare minimum. They're not doing anything unbelievable. They're also not looking awful in regards to run metres, just getting 35.3. And then the Knights, they're at 42.54. So they're getting a good amount. They're in the great category. They're on the mid area going upwards towards a fantastic area of 45, but 42.54 is really good for Newcastle. Now the average play the ball speed, 3.19 and below is extremely fast, 3.2 to 3.39 is fast, 3.4 to 3.59 is average, 3.6 to 3.79 is slow, and the 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.31 seconds is fast here for Manly. That's a really good play the ball speed. Whilst the Knights are at 3.53 on that real normal average play the ball speed. Then you go to the offloads, 5-5, tied up there. You go to the forced dropouts, 1-0 for Manly. Kick defusals, 25% for Manly, 50% for the Knights. And then here is the kicker. This is where the game has been currently lost for the old Manly. So the effective tackle percentage, 85% and below is just pathetic. It is disgusting. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. 90% above is basically perfect. 83.33% here for Manly. They're not even close to the 88% marker, and they are well underneath the pathetic category of 85%. 160 tackles made for a whopping 26 missed tackles and 6 ineffective. So an average amount of missed tackles is 15 to 17. They are 9 above that average. That is big, 26. That is really, really big missed tackles wise. And the ineffective tackles of 6. 5 to 7 is the average, so they're bang smack in the middle of the average. So in 40 minutes of play just now, you have seen them make 32 bad tackles. Only 8 bad tackles short of having a bad tackle per minute. Newcastle, on the other hand, pretty good. 88.96% is in that marker, right in the middle of the marker too, so they're doing a pretty decent job. 145 tackles made, so only 15 tackles less than Manly, but 10 missed tackles and 8 ineffective. So they're 5 underneath the average of 15 to 17. 10 missed tackles is really positive here for Newcastle, especially knowing what they did in the second half of last season. And the 8 ineffective tackles is above the average. So 5 to 7 is the average. So they're making quite a few ineffective tackles, but their missed tackles are amazing right now. So compared to 32 bad tackles from Manly to the 18 bad tackles from the Knights, you can see where this game is currently being won. And then you go to the errors. Here's the other kicker. 3 and below is good. 4 to 6 is average. 7 and above is awful. Manly are at 7. 7 errors is not acceptable. 5 errors for the Knights is, for their standards, pretty good. For their standards over the last couple of years, that's amazing. They would normally be at like 8, 9, maybe even 10 at this point in previous years, especially last year. But they're at 5 right now. So they'll take that. It's on the average category. It's not amazing, but it's in the smack bang middle of the average category, whilst Manly are in the awful category there. Ruck infringements, 3-2 to Manly. On reports, 1-0 against Manly. Overall, the stats just show what we think of Manly, and that they are happy to do the job, but they're not happy to excel at the job. They're not excelling really at anything. Completion rate, great, right? But so are the Knights. They're not excelling at line breaks. They're not excelling at tackle breaks. They're not excelling at run meters. That's just bare minimum kind of stuff. Post-contact meters is, at least they're winning that battle, but it's not like it's amazing. You know, the play the ball speed is fast. The offloads are the same, and you know, it's just a real flat line across this team lineup in regards to what we're looking at. So, look, can it change around? Sure. You know, like the second half can definitely change. It's only one half, and if we can see this happen in one half, or we can see the other team do it in the other half, but you just don't have that confidence in Manly right now. They just don't look that good. They just don't. The leaguey says that last try to Frizzell could just be enough to get them over the line despite the injuries. I think the Knights go on to win this game, man. Yeah, I think the Knights. The Manly Seagulls have not at any point in this game actually showed that their intention is to go and win it. Like there's no passion here from Manly. Like there's no excitement. It's just basic. It's really, really bland. Like, okay, they turned it on for a 5-minute stanza, and that's it. And that 40 minutes, 35 minutes the Knights won it. The other 5 minutes Manly won it. They looked really good for 5 minutes, and then died in a hole again. Manly just don't have any oomph about them. There's no real excitement from on. Maya says, if Manly managed to come back in this game, they're officially fighting for the spoon in round 27. I'm calling it. Based off of how they're playing right now, I wouldn't put it past them, even though they've never won a spoon before. They've never done it. How many else say, either way, the Titans and Dolphins can't take as much from the game, especially if it's like a 36-30 scoreline. Can't take as much from the game. If the Titans win at all, they'll take a decent bit about it. If the Dolphins win, it tells you nothing about them, though, because the Titans are the expected easy beats. Maya says, slap every money on the Sharks next against the Dolphins. As a lock, Dolphins have horrific defence and Sharks have a much better forward pack and decent attack. Yes, I'm tipping the Sharks next week, but with that being said, let's watch the Dolphins play against the Titans. If the Dolphins went and won by 80 points to 0, I think you'd be tipping the Dolphins. If they won 80-0, I think you probably would tip the Dolphins there, but the Titans hopefully give them a good crack here today. Whether they win or lose is another question, but as long as they give them a good crack and they fight hard and you know, put themselves into the hunt of it all, then, you know, I'll definitely be tipping probably with the Dolphins. Not the Dolphins, the Sharks next week, yeah. Gary says, what do you think is the problem at Manly? The coach, the players, or both? Because on paper they don't have a bad squad. Slightly disagree. I think that, yeah, the coach is the problem. Anthony Seibold for sure. You know, you can't say to me that Anthony Seibold has had a successful history as a coach. Tom Trbojevic, he is still a very good player, but I do feel like this Manly roster overall has just become very purgatory. Very, very purgatory. Their forward pack is extremely purgatory. You look at their forward pack, and the only really good player that you're looking at there is Hamoli Olakau'atu. The halves, they're very similar players. I didn't actually understand the signing of Fogarty, but if you're going to sign Fogarty, you do need a bit of an X Factor 5'8", and Luke Brooks is definitely not an X Factor 5'8". You need somebody who can diversify. You can be someone who's versatile, and Ethan Strange is versatile. Ethan Strange really brought the best out of Fogarty, and Luke Brooks doesn't. Even though Jamal's probably been their best player over these first couple of games. So Luke Brooks is a big problem here at Manly for mine. And then the back line, it's like Jason Saab is known for his attack. He's definitely not known for his defense. Lee Harper-White not really known for much at the moment. Garrick is okay, and Tolika Taukwala is X Factor. So there is good points of this team, but I wouldn't overall say on paper that this team is amazing. I wouldn't overall on paper say this team deserves to be top 8. I think on paper they're well earning currently their bottom 4 positioning. The league says, I've had my doubts about Seabold for years. Honestly, not sure he'll be around much longer. Brother, I've been saying for years and years and years that Manly should never have... I said when there was talk of him signing there, I think I even said before he was signed that I hope they don't sign a cat like Seabold. I'm pretty certain I said this back in the day. But I've always maintained very consistent with my thought process on Anthony Seabold. Don't you worry. Duraz says, honestly, Penrith's only competition is the Storm for me, and Broncos were 2 rounds in. Maybe if they find their form, Chooks were 2 rounds in. Chooks, maybe we will get an indication when they play Panthers next week. So why have you got the Broncos if they find their form, but you don't have the Sharks now? Why have you gone away from it? I thought you said the Sharkies were all right yesterday. Anyway, second half here, and it will be Newcastle who bring this ball to the 15. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget, we'll be putting up with my Gold Coast Titans against the Dolphins right after this. Hopefully we can put in a performance and not make me scream and cry and get angry today. Hopefully we can have a positive day stream watching the Titans play, dearie me. So it's going to be third tackle here for Newcastle, and they will be at the 35 now on 4th tackle. Callum Ponga is still getting wrapped up there with ice on his hammy, so it must definitely be something that he's probably going to be out for a couple of weeks. Not for a significant amount of time, but you can definitely see it. You can see that he's still feeling it. All right, Lee Harper-White grabs the ball to 15. Just show us something here, Manly. Like, make this not bland. Like, I want a stick. I just want to poke you with a stick and say, do something, please. Like, just do something, Manly. Tolika Taukwala, he'll bring this ball here to the 30. And it's going to be second tackle. Why would Manly pick Seabold up after seeing his tenure at Brisbane? I really don't know, mate. I don't know, and I also don't know who they go in afterwards. It would be very funny if they went Brad Arthur, short ball to Ben Trbojevic, and he'll be at the 45 on 4th tackle. Now Luke Brooks, he steps, he's going to bring it to the 40, now 5th tackle. Arthur Bunny says, I wonder what your dad is feeling like since he said he's a Seagulls fan. He'd be pissed off right now, of course he would be. So Jamal Fogarty will kick this ball. I mean, I wonder, of course you know what he is like. Greg Martiu, are you surprised to hear that my dad would be pissed off at a 30-10 current drubbing at Brookvale by 20 points to a team that came last year and couldn't score to save their lives, and now they've scored 30 points and a half against them? I remember Seabold took Broncos to their first ever wooden spoon. Now it's our time. That's a good point. Livy Reed with the $8 Ring donation. Get around your Livy. Get around here for the dono. Says, happy Sunday to all that celebrate. Now I have tipped the Titans. I hope they don't let me down. Olivia, we're going to win by maybe 90 points in the first half. Maybe 643 points within the first 23 minutes of the game. And I'm being generous to the Dolphins by saying that too. I am. I'm a generous man, compassionate man. Very generous and compassionate man, son. But thank you very much for the dono, Olivia. Get around you. Draz says, damn, your dad and mum support Northern Beaches side. How good. What? My mum is a Sharks fan. Sharks aren't Northern Beaches. Cronulla's not Northern Beaches. What do you mean? Second time. Des is not going to be the new Manly coach, man. What are you doing to Des? Des isn't getting another coaching gig in the NRL, unfortunately, mate. Desi's time is done as a coach. Des, new coach at Manly. You're dreaming. Luke Brooks, good run here. Luke Brooks away here. Tolika. Oh, he's taken out of the 5. That was actually an amazing run there from Luke Brooks. That should be a 6 again here. That should be a 6 again. They didn't call it, though. It was actually a really nice run by Luke Brooks for once. Tom Trbojevic goes out to the right. He'll be at the 14. He'll get the offload away to Olakau'atu. Olakau'atu here steps. He's still going. Olakau'atu with the try time. Well, there's a try for Manly. And it is 30-14 with a kick to come. Well, there's a little bit of excitement, Manly. Good on you. A little bit of excitement coming out from you today. Awful first half, but Luke Brooks makes a great run down the left-hand touchline, and he gets the ball off to Tolotau Kuala, but Pasami Saula makes a good tackle on him before he gets away. Des has nightmares about Manly. Des has nightmares about Manly, and Manly have nightmares about how that situation unfolded with the Pride scenario. Brown and Pong are out if Manly don't win. Gee whiz. Oh, Brown and Pong are out if Manly don't win. Gee whiz. Well, you can't really hate them for not coming back from a 30-10 scoreline, but yes, Brown. Oh, so Dylan Brown's injured for the rest of the game too, is he? Wow, I didn't know that. I knew he was injured, but I didn't know he didn't come back out. I knew about Counterponga, obviously. Well, it just shows the Knights probably won't have any attack for this second half, but their defense should still be systemic defense. Mick Ennis, a good option for Manly new coach. You know, it's funny. At the time, I did say, League, I don't know if you're still here. I want to ask your opinion on this. I did actually say when Manly were looking for a coach that Brad Arthur was actually not a bad shout. I don't think that Brad Arthur would have been a horrific shout for what Manly are looking to do. I don't think it would have been bad, and I don't think it would be bad. Brad Arthur cops way too much criticism for his Eels days when, at the end of the day, he brought him to a grand final for the first time in however long, got him in a couple of prelims and whatnot, and the Eels were looking at their best under Brad Arthur, and then he just stayed there probably a little bit too long. All right, so 30-14. Conversion to come. With all the injuries to Newey, Manly should really be chasing this down. But again, those injuries impact the attack. Oh, Fogarty will get it. His kicking's been shonky today, but at least he's got two of them. Manly, look, I agree with you guys in a way, but also the Knights' attack is what should suffer from losing Callum Ponga, not having Fletcher Sharp here, and also losing Dylan Brown. Sandon Smith has to be their key role in the halves, and I don't agree with it necessarily, but he is. So I don't really think that it should just be Manly come back. But, you know, maybe we say something. Maybe. Highlanders fan with a $2 donation says, got Knights and Titans on my tips. I hope I go 2 from 2. Appreciate you for the dono, mate. And good on you for tipping the Titans. Hopefully we can get the job done for you later on today. Oh, fuck me, Luke Brooks. Oh, you have such a good moment, Luke. Oh, my gosh. You have such a good moment, and then you knock the ball on off kickoff. This guy can't catch a kickoff to save his life. Oh, my gosh. This is twice today for Luke Brooks. You can't blame the sun this time. Oh, boy. Bloody Carter Gordon. I know more about him than what the media's told you guys. I don't know. We aren't putting Adam Elliott on the interchange. Draz as well said, people forget Eels were actually okay under him. 2017 top 4, 2019, 2022 made finals and made grand final in 2022. Just never got through the final hurdle of winning the title. They did win a spoon though. I think he was there when they won their 2 spoons off of cheating, but that was like at the very beginning of his tenure. Crossland at the back to Sandon Smith. They go right. Dom Young. Oh, Manly's defense is actually sickening. Oh, it's sickening. It's sickening to watch, bro. Manly's defense is horrific, man. Manly's defense is horrific. How has Dom Young scored this try? How have you fallen off of this tackle? How has Dom Young scored this try? Oh, bro. Look at this. You've got Tom Trbojevic out there. How has Tom just fallen off of that tackle? How has Dom Young just bounced off him like that? Yeah, that's a GG, Tyler. Manly no way can come back in this game now. Like that's a GG watching that defense. Tom every day of the week should be making that tackle. Yeah, commentary saying, like, that's not your normal Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic every day of the week should be making that tackle. Every day of the week. Fletcher's out 2 weeks with torn foreskin. Pray for him. Dear me. So the conversion coming up. So who kicks now? So, Sandon Smith kicks, that's right. Brooks cooking for the Seagulls like he's still got the barbecue for the Tigers. Dude, Luke Brooks has been so bad today. He's dropped 2 balls off of the kickoff, and both of them end up being tries. Has one good moment where he broke down that left-hand sideline. Outside of that, he's had a horrific game. Scott Drinkwater put up an effort. Yeah, don't know about that. Don't know if I can agree with that. Something you expect from Walsh and Drinkwater, not Turbo. Yeah, exactly. You expect it from those guys, not from Tom Trbojevic. Just completely fell off the tackle, damn. Completely fell off it. So, 34-16 with 33 minutes to go here the game. Highland says, with the $5 donation, we'll stay here and listen to your commentary when watching Black Caps South Africa. I think that's tomorrow, though. I don't think that's that's Tuesday, isn't it? The first game is on today, though. But I can't do it. Yeah, that's on now. But I will be live for the one on Tuesday between... Oh, Smith will miss that kick. Sam Smith will miss that kick. So it stays 3 converted tries. At the very least for Manly, you're not down by 20. Not down by 20. Gary says that just sums Manly up. Dude, that was so poor, man. That is so poor, man. So poor. Dre says, who said Drinkwater make an effort? Did they not see his effort on Dewey try? Oh, yeah, that was worse than Tom Trbojevic there. Scott Drinkwater's effort on that Dewey try was worse than what we just saw from Tom Trbojevic against Dom Young. Torn foreskin, worst injury to heal from. Don't listen to Daz, mate. Don't listen to Daz. Draz says, South Africa versus New Zealand, the cricket or different code of sport. Yeah, cricket is on now. T20. It's a 5-game series. I'll be live for it on Tuesday for the second game, and I think Thursday for the third game. But it's unfortunate because a lot of the time slots are on during rugby league games. Third tackle now for the Knights. They're going to be at the 20. And they'll go out to the left, off to Sanders Smith, and then Dylan Lucas, I think, will get this ball to the 30 and 4 tackle. Now, to be fair, if you're Manly's perspective, it is only 18 points. There's only 3 converted tries. But if Manly win this game, that means we're seeing 70-plus points scored again in a game. Watching it live is worse. Wayne, I'm so sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss here, man. Loss in regards to watching the game. Doesn't mean the game's actually a loss yet, but Craig says you dreaming. I'm dreaming about what? What am I dreaming about? What am I dreaming about? What have I offended you with, Craig? Second tackle now at the 50. They go out to the right to Jamal Fogarty, and Fogarty gets his ball to the 45 on the 9th side of the field, third tackle. David says Anthony Seymour might have a chance to win Brisbane and Manly both their first wooden spoons. That's a very elusive title. Jay Trbojevic to Luke Brooks. Then up to Ben Trbojevic, and Ben Trbojevic brings his ball to the 32 on 4th tackle. 30 minutes to go here at the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. What have I offended you with there, Mr. Craig? October? It's also March, by the way. Home the NRL says 30-28, the new 18-16, because this year it certainly seems it. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I put up on my Instagram story the other day. Pretty much. Bradman Best will be at the 20. And penalty to Newcastle. Well done, Manly. Well done, Manly. Sharks would have done a better effort. They went all right last night. Don't start me, Logan. Don't start me. We're just trying to survive this game at this point. KP injury could cost him an origin spot. Well, he's thinking about World Cup right now, really. No, it won't cost him an origin spot. Hamstring would probably be about... He looked like he was okay. It's probably a maximum of 4 weeks, but... You know, that's still only halfway through April, and Origin's not until the end of May. So Knights here, and it'll be Trey Mooney. He'll bring this ball to the halfway point. He's taking the piss, I think, at you, Duraz. I think he's taking the piss at your expense there. He's not saying that off the cuff himself. Was that the first penalty, really? We haven't seen a great deal of penalties here today. I think that might actually be the first actual penalty. I've always said the NRL is far superior to our Super League, but at the moment Manly would fit right in with his performance. Manly, this is what you've done to yourselves. I'm not even the one who gets to criticise you. You've got English Super League fans criticising your performance right now. That should do you in. That's it. Time to turn the TV off. You've got English Super League fans coming in saying you'd fit right in over in the Super League. Second tackle here in Newcastle at the 20. That is the ultimate insult. That is the ultimate. They'll go out to Sanders Smith, and now they'll be 15 metres away. They go out to Tyson Frizzell, and Frizzell is going to be 4 metres away from the line. 4 tackle. 4 tackle, 2 metres out. Phoenix Crossland gets it across. That was actually a good rush-up defense there from Lee Hupper-White, otherwise they would have scored on that right-hand side. Shauno says the Silvertails from the past are Swallows now, you wankers. Oh, they kicked that ball through, and that's going to be a 7-tackle set coming up here for Manly. Swallows now, you wankers. Deary me. What an absolute schmozzle it's been so far. I'm really looking forward to the Knights playing the Warriors because that will tell me a lot more about this Knights team. It really will. If Knights lost this game, it would tell me a lot about this Knights team from where they are right now. But if they go on and win this game, I want to see them play the Warriors because the Cowboys and Manly have looked absolute triple so far. Seabold did last a lot longer at Manly than I thought he would. I agree with you, Andre. That doesn't mean that I think it's the right decision he's lasted as long as he has, but I do agree with you that he's lasted way longer than I thought he would last. So they'll go after Luke Brooks, then off to Nathan Brown, and Nathan Brown's going to be at the 30 on 4 tackle. Nice side of the field. Manly haven't won a title since 2011. That is closing in on being 20 years. Yeah, well, they've won a premiership every decade of their existence. They've only got a couple of years left of doing that. Tom Trbojevic, he's going to step his 5th tackle. And, oh my gosh. Manly are so pits right now, man. That's the drop ball from Trbojevic, so the Knights run this ball out at the 44. Lemon says, hi from Thailand, NRL fans. Get around you. I'm actually thinking about, I might be coming to Thailand actually 2 weeks, week and a half. It ends up being extremely cheap for me to go there for about 5 weeks compared to other places that I was meant to go to. So I might actually be on my way there. I don't know where though. So Knights will be 30 metres away from the line, 4 tackle. KP is in turbo, which a torn hammy is basically a torn ACL and torn Achilles for him. Knights now at the 20 on 5th tackle. Do Manly know what tackle means? Manly do not know what tackle means. And Sandon Smith will get this ball into the corner. Manly! Dom Young catches it, throws it back, and I don't think that's played out there, so I think this will be Manly ball to 10. Tyler Russell says, I wish I understood the rules better. I'm American, but I like rugby. Oh, that's good, man. Well, obviously, stick in and tune in for some more games. This is an amazing game for you to kind of really... I don't think you can blame Tom Trbojevic there. I don't think he plays at that ball. But yeah, there's much better games than what you're seeing here. This round has been a couple of blowouts, man. But good to have you, and hopefully you enjoy the game more. Else, if you're enjoying this game here, well, you'll definitely prefer other games a lot more. You'll love the sport then. And they'll be unsuccessful. So Manly will get the ball here at the 10. Already got 50 points scored this game. Don't want to know what it could be after the second, obviously, in favour of the Titans. We could see over 200 points scored today overall. Try Predictor has Knights at 67%. Don't start me. Don't start me. And now the comment is like, that reads nicely for you Knights fans. No shit, because they're up 34-16. It's just telling you who's leading effectively. That's a strip, and that's a penalty to Manly. Well, you needed something. Get a little bit of adjustment. Get a little bit of momentum going here. Well, sure, no, it's not even... chain might cost a little bit to get up there. There is like a Bangkok or Pattaya, but I just don't even really want to go to Pattaya because I know how dirty it can be, and dirty it is, but that's a really cheap place to go that there's great accommodation there and great internet and whatnot, but I also just don't really know if I want to go to that area. But it's a great little stop for like 5 weeks, but I also know how much shit I'm going to cop from you guys just for existing in that place. First tackle now for Manly, even though that kind of scene isn't my scene at all. Tolotau Koala will be taken down to the 35 on second tackle. Tyler says, I enjoy it as a sport for sure, just sometimes the rules on certain penalties I don't understand, I just got to watch them more. Mate, I've been watching this sport for 31, 32 years now. Most people have been watching it all their life, and we don't even understand the rules anymore because they change it all the time. The Olakawatu knock on. Oh, it's a painful sport to watch sometimes. It's a painful sport to watch sometimes. But yeah, no, the rules change a lot, man, so we even get confused. But Olakawatu drops the ball. Manly looked like they might have started to just turn a bit of momentum, and since they do that, drop ball. Josh knows his question, would Glenn Stewart B, what the Seagulls need as a replacement for Seabold. Well, I don't really know what Glenn Stewart's coaching abilities are. Josh Nader, obviously an unbelievable player in his day. Really, really good. But I wouldn't be the best person to ask in regards to his coaching abilities. I think that it's just as simple that Anthony Seabold needs to move on. Dane Gagai is getting up a bit wobbly here. God bless him. But I think it's time to move on from Anthony Seabold 100%. I don't really like if they think Glenn Stewart's the guy. Whoever they think is the guy, you just have to kind of back in right now, because as long as they're going in a different direction, fine. But I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh yeah, I know all about Glenn Stewart's coaching prowess kind of deal. But he obviously knows how to play rugby league. He knows how to play it. Back in his days, do you think Todd Payton and Anthony Seabold will be sat before the end of the season? God hope so, mate. I really hope so. Fit tackle for Newcastle, and they're going to be at the 23 minutes to go of the game. Glenn Stewart is a coach. Yeah, I don't really know about all that kind of stuff. That's why I said. Fletcher Hunt, fit tackle, offloads it to Sandon Smith, and Sandon Smith will put that ball up into the corner where Lee Habawade, he grabs it at the 5. And Manly ball, he's going for a one-on-one strip here, Dom Young, but he's not going to get that. What in the preseason our game? Yeah, this is a preseason type of game. Oh, no, it's another knock-on. It's a penalty. Oh, thank God. Thank God, otherwise I was going to lose it. Lose it for Manly. Rian Waho, welcome to being a member. Appreciate you for supporting the channel, Rian. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Appreciate you for joining up as a member. The only people that put shit on you about Pattaya are the people that have never been there before. That is true. That is true. But also I know about what that place is going to like. If his coaching is like his punch on he had with Adam Blair, then has no chance. Well, look, I think Glenn Stewart was probably the better of the two, and that's to say something when neither one of them landed any punches. But that is one of the greatest moments in rugby league history, that Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair punch on at Brookie, Battle of Brookvale. He won the Clive Churchill for that incredibly cathartic 2008 grand final. That's all you need to know about him. 40-0 will always live in infamy in all the best ways. Man, I know Glenn Stewart. I know who Glenn Stewart is, man. That's not the thing I was saying. I don't know about his coaching prowess, but I know how good of a player he was. You're not telling me something I don't know. My dad's a Manly fan, man. I've grown up with him talking my entire life about damn well everyone at Manly. I know everything about Manly. I just don't know about their coaching abilities. So 4th tackle now. Jamal Fogarty, Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic runs back out to the left-hand side. He steps. And then he'll offload it. They get the ball across again. They got maybe numbers. No, Ben Trbojevic cuts back into the middle. That's the literal worst option you could have done. And they're 10 metres out. Jake Simpkin gets it to Nathan Brown. Brown now to Luke Brooks. Oh, this is so poor. They kick this ball through. I'm going to have a heart attack watching Manly. I'm going to have a heart attack watching this attack. I'm going to have a heart attack. GVM says, go and skip my question. I don't even know what you... what is your question? What is your question? Oh, I might have to click on live chat. Maybe your chat got hidden from me. I'll have a look. Under 68 live, what is it? So 30, 44, 50. I would probably go under 68, but there's still there's still plenty of time left here. But the Knights aren't looking to score too much because they've got no Dylan Brown now. They've obviously no Fletcher Sharps here. They've lost Caleb Ponga to injury as well. So it's just Sandon Smith as the leading half. So I don't really think the Knights will score too much. If you think Manly come back, then yes. If you don't think Manly come back, then no. That's quite a bit. 6 again for Newcastle at 35. Manly, you've been so ass today. Josh Nader says, I was giving you the context for anyone who didn't know who he was, just to be clear. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I was like, I don't know who Glenn Stewart is, man. I thought you were talking to me. Knights now, 2nd tackle, 15 minutes away, 20 minutes to go of the game. Guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and don't forget we'll be live for Titans Dolphins right after this. GPM, I literally just answered your question, mate. Like, I literally just answered your question. Home of the NRL says, what a combo of Nathan Brown and Luke Brooks moving the ball might be worse than the torn foreskin. Torn foreskin. I don't know if it's worse than that, but it's close. Definitely close. 4th tackle for Newcastle. They're 10 metres away. Can they hit the friggin' 40? When was the last time Newcastle as a club hit 40 points? It would have been a long time ago. I can't remember the last time they did. Probably would have been against my team a couple of years back. Fit tackle. I don't think they scored 40 at all last year. Surely not. Out to Crossland. They kick this ball through, and that'll be a dropout coming out from Manly. Dropout coming on up. 140-0 over a team that was cheating, by the way. Yes, that is why I'll always respect that 2008 Grand Final as one of the greatest wins of all time. Because the Storm was so far over the cap, it's not funny, and they got beaten by so much, it's not funny. They scored 40 against the Rabbits. Did they? Maybe. Knights now get this ball to 25. I can't remember that game, but that tells you a lot about the Rabbits last year. The Knights scored 40 against the Rabbits last year. So Knights now first tackle at the 10. The crowd sound is just gone in on watching or on KO. So first tackle, 3 metres away. They give it out the back. Crossland. He's 4 metres away. And short ball to Trey Mooney. He'll be 2 metres out. 4 tackle. So close. Can the Knights? They would seal it with a try here. You would seal it with a try right now. Sandon Smith off to Crossland. Crossland now to Fletcher. Hunt! Oh, he's offloaded it. Oh, knock on Newcastle. That was the absolute sealer right there. Steeler Brainrod says this Manly team's built like must. This Manly team, I'm not a Manly fan, is giving me heart palpitations watching them play. I'm having an aneurysm internally. Like I'm losing my mind watching this Manly team. I'm losing my mind. And I'm a Titans fan. And I'm losing my mind at Manly. Oh my gosh. Lily Angel getting around it. Everyone says it was 30. Okay, yeah. I don't think that Knights would have got 40 last year. Surely not. With the way they scored like 100 less points than the second worst attacking team in the comp last year. I just don't see them scoring 40 at all last year. If Brooks starts next week, I might actually have to drive my car through Seabold's house. Dude, he has been so awful today, Luke Brooks. He had 1 good run. Outside of that, he has been so bad. Literally, they're down by 3 tries. 2 tries are directly off of the back of him dropping the kickoffs. 2. So Manly at the 40, and Jake Simpkin, he will now get this ball to the 50, and it'll be fit tackle. What would you rate this performance out of 10, someone? I know you're a Manly fan. What would you rate this performance out of 10 here, champion? And that's going to go a 7 tackle set. The last 2 times was that 66-0 game against the Dogs in 2023. Scored 40 again against the Dogs 6 weeks later. Daz, thoughts? Thoughts, Daz? Try scores the next match. Keanu Kinney, and then probably Keanu Kinney. And Newcastle bring this ball to the 35 on first tackle. No, try screws the next match. I'll go Keanu Kinney, and I'm going to back in a bit of Cooper Boy. And then for the Dolphins, I'll go Kennelly Lemielu and Herbie Farnworth. In no way should a team losing 30-10 have a second half score of 6-4 with Ponga and Brown out. Again, the Ponga and Brown out alongside Fletcher not being available today is more on their attack, which is why the low score for the Knights in the second half makes sense. Honestly, if they had stayed in the game, Knights probably would have hit 50. So it's going to be Crossland off to Trey Mooney. Trey Mooney at the back down to Crossland. Cross to McEwen, and McEwen taking down 15 out fit tackle. Like a 3 out of 10. I'd barely even say that. Can't rate it a 5 when we have dropped the ball twice off the kickoff and losing against the Brown and Pongaless Knights. Yep, but I would barely even say it's a 3. They drop Walsh but still play Brooks. Seabold masterclass. Seabold absolute masterclass here, son. Absolute masterclass from Anthony Seabold. Unbelievable stuff. 2023, the Knights weren't a team. They were a team. I don't even know if I want to tell you what just happened from Manly. I don't even know if I want to do it. I don't even know if I want to tell you that they've just knocked on off of the first play. They've literally just knocked on after the first play off the scrum. Dane is playing Golden One. We have had a good completion rate today at least. Yeah, well, not now. 7 from 11 second half completions. Yeah, your completion rate, well, Andre, don't know about that. But Dane Gagai, he'll be at the 15. That's a penalty to Newcastle. Manly, you're good, man. You're good. Your completion rate, 83%. It's about to be 80%, but, like, it's actually pretty good. Olivia says, so they have both Dylan and Kalen out, and this is Manly's performance. Well, they had Kalen and Dylan in the game at the most important part of the game when they scored their 30 points. Kalen and Dylan Brown were on, and then since then, obviously the Knights have only scored 4 points. They're going to go for a 2 here to make it a 20-point game, which makes sense. But they scored 34 points here when Dylan Brown and Counterpong were on. So don't just listen and think that that's the whole game they've been out for. But yes, since that point, they've only scored the 4 points and about to be 6. Steeler, Manly not going to be winning jack today. Manly not going to be winning nothing today. Everyone says, can Titans just win today after what Manly has done? Manly has made my mental health go so far downwards. I need the Titans to just at least put in a damn well effort. Kubai has to have more minutes in the field today. Looked decent against the Sharks, but came on like the 50th minute. That's probably when he will come on today as well. And Jake at 13. Love Jake, but the game has moved past him. Next cricket stream's on Tuesday, Shatish. Love Jake, but this game has moved so past him. Having Brooks and Jake not losing their position while being so out of form says it all about the hierarchy. Yeah, I don't disagree. It's definitely time for Luke Brooks to go. Joey Walsh getting dropped today, which is disgraceful. Josh Ryan says, hard to believe the Knights made the top 8 in 2024, only to win the Spoon last year, and now giving 2 noticeably improved performances of the season. Interesting to see where they go this year. I've still got them for a pretty low ranking. I definitely don't have them for the Spoon anymore, but I'll be honest with you, I could still see it being third last, and the reason being is that I could easily see the Cowboys and Manly both coming last and second last right now. Cowboys and Manly have been my 2 most disappointing teams so far this season. We know they're going to be poor. The Titans, if they go and have another poor performance against the Dolphins, they will be alongside Manly and the Cowboys. But right now, the Cowboys have looked awful against the Knights and awful against the Tigers. Manly did not look good against the Raiders and did not look good against the Knights here. This has been way worse than that Raiders game, though. They at least had the early portion of the game and then relied on a flurry in the last 5 minutes against Canberra. And also Canberra lost by 40 to the New Zealand Warriors, mind you. So right now, I think the Knights have been kissed a bit on the dick in regards to who they've gotten to play. Next week, they play the Warriors in Newcastle. They'll tell me a lot more about what the Knights are as a team, but also they might be without Dylan Brown. They might be without Cannon Ponga. They're probably going to be without Fletcher Sharp. I don't know how their attack's going to be looking, but right now, I still need to see more from the Knights team. Andre says, I think Jake needs just less minutes. Probs should go into our prop rotation with Herring. Yeah, I think there is time that Jake Trebojevic is more of a prop than a lock. I agree with that. So third tackle for Newcastle at the 40. Club is just a mess. Luckily, we can always fall on young talent coming through for mediocre seasons ahead. Should be worse. Well, again, you guys mainly have won a premiership every decade that they've been in the competition. Well, right now you haven't won the 2020s, so I don't think you're winning this year. So you got 27, 28, 29, and that's it. You've only got 3 more years to try and keep that streak alive. The player that made the biggest mistakes in footy from the kickoff is not worth the money. Well done, Brooks. Luke Brooks. I can't believe they dropped Joe Walsh. I just can't believe it. We're desperate for medals, and what does that genius organisation do? Sign Davey Mawali and let him go to the Storm this season. They signed Mawali and then let him go to the Storm? What? With the Warriors' attack and strong defence, I can see a decent score put on the Knights next week. I agree. Jay Trebojevic underneath the Tom Trebojevic, and he'll be at the 50 on Fit Tackle. 10 minutes to go of the game here, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. We will be live immediately after this game as the Titans will be taking on the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. And obviously that'll be a very different kind of watch-along where it's a penalty here to Newcastle at the 20. Oh, it's Luke Brooks as well. I'm going to cry. Luke Brooks, you're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry, Luke Brooks. You're going to make me cry. Luke Brooks, you're really grinding my gears right now, man. You are really grinding my gears as we currently speak. Oh. I can't deal with him, lads. I just can't do it. Dolphins Titans might be the greatest game of all time. About to come up. I'll start up that stream in 10 minutes' time. Oh, no, sorry, that's at 2 o'clock that starts. Oh, it's at 20 minutes. 2 o'clock my time. Obviously, I'm in Vietnam. 10 minutes. 9 minutes left here, sorry. Home the NRL says Mawali signed with the Seagulls from 2027 onwards, but he got released early to go to the Storm this year. Jeez. Jimmy James says wasn't Brooks. Doesn't matter, Jimmy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point, Jimmy. Could we see the new halves changed? Well, Joey Walsh should be in the halves 1,000,000%. So third tackle now for Newcastle. They're going to be 30 metres away here from the line. Lagan says Luke Brooks is 31. Contract expires at the end of 2027. He'll be 33. Manly should let him go. He should spend 2 years in the Super League and retire. Probably the best path for him. Don't disagree. Newcastle here, 5 metres away from the line. 4 tackle. Yeah, losing all for the finals to the Tigers as well was a massive loss there. Newcastle, 15 metres away on fifth tackle. Latu hasn't really kicked on, but Samuela Fainu was a big loss, and Sione Fainu did well as well yesterday. But Samuela Fainu right now is actually their biggest loss overall. That is going to be a 7 tackle set here for Manly. Trey Mooney kicked that ball through just then. Trey Mooney was the one who kicked that. Andre says Humphreys to Bunnies hers. Well, Humphreys is a big one, yeah. Yeah, but like Humphreys for mine hasn't kicked on all amazingly, but we'll see when he comes back for the Rapids. I think next week he plays. Samuela Fainu for mine was a massive loss because can you imagine Olakawatu and Samuela Fainu in your back row? Sione Fainu on the bench. There's quite a few players actually. Just Jostling says, interesting, so the Knights only need to score 17 more points to overtake the Panthers for third. Given how dreadful Manly's defence has been, that isn't entirely impossible. Oh, another knock-on from Manly. The Knights aren't scoring 17 more points. There's only 7 minutes left here, but at the end of the day, they're up by 20 right now, which would put them into plus 30. They'll be above the Tigers. They're in the top 4 right now. Newcastle will be in 4th position by the end of the round if their score stays the same. Latu was active gun at 6 because we signed Brooks instead. Oh, so Latu left because you signed Brooks. Is that true, someone? This game doesn't prove anything for the Knights. It proves that the Knights aren't as bad this year as they have been in previous years, specifically last year. But it doesn't prove anything overall for Newcastle, that they're a big, good, quality team. But it definitely does show they're not as bad as a wooden spoon team. Terrible performance by Manly. Yeah, it's been a pretty rough performance here still. Mitchell says, screw you, Manly. Yeah, you're out of the top 4 here now, Mitchell. Tigers, you're gone. You're gone. You're so far gone. My gosh. Oh, Manly are away here. Ruben Garrick at the 50, the 40, the 30, the 25, the 20. Tigers fans, you want Manly to score here. Ruben Garrick at the 15. He's going to roll that ball, and nobody's going to be there at marker. And Bradman Best is away. Please end the game, Tyler. I'm begging. Ruben Garrick takes them 80 metres, and then nobody's at marker. And the Knights pick the ball up and then run back to the 50. Joey Walsh and Humphreys in the halves. Samuel on the 12 alongside Hamoli. Sione as a prop rotation with Latu as a utility. What a team Manly could have been. Manly would have had a good team there. And then you got Joey Walsh. Oh, you said Joey Walsh. Sorry, my brain didn't click. A knock on here from Newcastle. Now, left because Tony Mestrov, I don't know who Tony Mestrov is, our old CEO, went to the Tigers and poached because we weren't giving them playing time. What does this thank God we aren't playing them? We aren't playing next week. Yeah, Manly need to really go into this bye round and just need to figure their shit out. That is just 100% for sure, Andre. They just need to simply figure their shit out right now. That bye comes at a great time for them, but I think you play the Roosters the week after, mind you, so good luck. It's not like it gets easy for you. This was meant to be an easier game for you. Who would tip between Manly and the Cows if it was tomorrow? Manly versus Cows is disgusting right now. I would probably take... That is such a yuck game, man. Manly versus the Cows. Probably I would maybe take Oh, I don't know, dude. Oh, intercept by the Knights, and Dane Gagai's away here. Dane Gagai at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, 15. Still going, Dane, still going. He'll be 10 metres out on first tackle. I would probably go with Manly based off of what I've seen, but it's just such a shit prediction. Such a shit prediction there. I asked the chat, but who would you tip between Manly and Cowboys right now? 6 again for Newcastle, 10 metres out. Just Joshin says, also, if the Seagulls concede on 7 points, they dropped to 14th. They concede 14. Yeah, well, there's only 4 minutes to go here, so I don't see that happening. But here's a penalty coming up to Newcastle, and he's in the bin. He's in the bin. Well, we could still definitely see one more try here for Newcastle. Not to even mention how dirty we did Des Hasler after the Pride Red incident. Someone, we had a comment before saying that bring Desi back. Bring Desi back. Desi. But that is a penalty to Newcastle. Surely you just go for the try, and you do. They are going for the try, first tackle. Can I fall for my tip, Mitchell? I've had such an awful round of tipping, and I'm tipping the Titans the next game too, so I might have an absolute mare. I was thinking of a last-second switch to Manly today, so glad I didn't. What a game this has been. This has definitely been the most dead game of the round. That is 100% for sure. This has been the most dead game of the round. I'm sticking on the Titans. You can't stop me. And people thought Desi was the problem with this club. I never thought Desi was the problem. Desi wasn't even the problem with the Titans. He wasn't doing great at the Titans, but he wasn't the problem. 2:40 to go here, the game. There is 25 minutes to go until the next game starts up, Titans-Dolphins. This stream will send you immediately over to that other stream, guys. So if you are sitting in and watching the Titans-Dolphins with us, you just leave this stream on and it will take you immediately over there. Obviously, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. We're live for every single game, and we finish up the round with the Titans-Dolphins one right after this. Wooden spoon contenders for sure. Manly have never won a spoon before. They're in contention for it with the way they're playing. Cowboys have won it before, and they're in contention. Titans are still currently in contention for it. I don't think Broncos are in contention for it. I don't think the Knights are going to be anywhere close to it now. I think they'll still be like between the range of like 15-14 to 12-11 at max. And there's a penalty hit of Manly at the 45. Jimmy says, the great thing about this game is that there's only 2 minutes to go. Oh, fantastic, Jimmy. Mate, that is the sexiest thing you've ever said, Jimmy. It's the greatest thing you've ever said. Go for the 2, Manly, you cats. Go for the 2, you cats. Knights to finish 9th or 10th. I completely and utterly disagree with you, bunnies. Completely and utterly disagree. So Manly are going to get this ball here, and they're going to be at the 30. We saw what? Wins against the Cowboys and Manly? Come on, man. So Manly now at the 35. And Taniela Paseka is going to be 30 metres away here from the line. Sports License, new coach button for the Seagulls. I know that's not their only problem, though. It's not their only problem, but it's a massive issue at Manly. They need a refresh start. Tolta Kuola, he'll kick this ball through for himself here. The ball will. That's too hard, though. 7 tackle set for Newcastle. 54 seconds to go here in the game. 54 seconds left here. Until we can pretend this game never existed. Yeah, they're talking about the Knights. 9 losses in a row to finish the season last year. Allegedly, big time allegedly, from what I hear, Seabold likes his drinking as well. Maybe why his tactics are all over the place, allegedly. I don't know why he's saying allegedly. There's plenty of photos with him out at nightclubs and partying and whatnot. Like, there's literally photos online of him out partying at nightclubs and extracurricular activities. Like, at the end of the day, it's his job and he's allowed to go and have fun outside of his job, but you do want a bit more professionalism, but he is entitled and allowed to go and have fun outside of his working hours, as long as you're not looking as shit as this has been. You just got pumped by the Knights at home, 2 straight losses. This is a dark day for Manly. Okay, it's a dark day. You've lost 2 straight games to start the season at Brookvale, mind you. 1 to the Wooden Spooner from last year. Look, the Raiders, at least they looked good last year and had a minor premiership, but this year they've gone on to lose by 40 to the New Zealand Warriors over there in New Zealand. So this is a pretty rough start here for the old Manly. Very rough start. For Newcastle, a little bit of positivity about you. A little bit of positivity. You get a win. That's 2 wins to start the season against the Cowboys and Manly, though. So we'll see you against the New Zealand Warriors next week. That will tell me a lot more about where you're at for mine, because right this very second, I'm still a little bit, just waiting. I just need to wait and see still a little bit more on you. But, guys, we're going to see you in 10 minutes' time for the next game, which is the Gold Coast Titans travelling up to Redcliffe to take on the Dolphins, travelling up to Brisbane to take on the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. Obviously, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.